This episode of the Patriots Postgame Show is presented by DraftKings.
This is the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings.
First down,
touchdown.
Dive to the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots.
Join the conversation by calling into the TPX hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at podcast@patriots.com.
Hand off to Stevenson. Runs left, big hole across the 40. Cuts left at the 45. And steamrolls the defender there.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Matt Smith.
And we welcome you into the Patriots Postgame Show, sponsored by DraftKings, where just a few minutes ago, the Patriots lost to the Los Angeles Rams by the score of 28-22. On the surface, competitive game. Patriots with some chances. I'm not sure at the end how competitive it was. I think the score was a little bit closer than the game indicated. I think the Rams, up until the end, really turned the momentum of the game around on both lines of scrimmage in the second quarter when they took a lead. But you got to give the Patriots credit. They were plucky a little bit down the stretch. As we wait for PFW Paul and Mike Dussault to join us, I think one of the questions that people are going to ask on that last play, and we'll hear from Drake Maye, we'll hear from Jerod Mayo later on during their press conferences, but what was the miscommunication like? I saw one look of it. It looked like Demario Douglas was running free on a crosser across the middle. Didn't look. May certainly threw the ball there and was picked. And so a chance to maybe steal a win against the Rams late in the game goes for naught. Nice job there, Chris, by seeing it. I don't know. Certainly looks like a miscommunication to me. May seems to think that he's got Douglas. Maybe the ball sailed on him. But whatever it was, whether it's sealed or not, Douglas's head isn't even looking at it. And so with that, any hopes of trying to steal one and come back and win this game are dashed. 28-22 the final score. The Patriots now are 3-8 on the season after today's loss. Plenty to go over in the good, the bad, and the injured because there was a lot of all. I'm not sure about the injury part of it, but there was some good. No question about it, but too much bad. And with that, the Rams win 28-22. My colleague Paul Perillo now is sitting down and joining us. Give me a little instant analysis, PFW Paul. I said at the shoot, 28-22, and the score looks close. I'm not sure the score was as close as the game was. I think the Rams could do whatever they wanted from the second quarter on, pretty much.
Am I on, Matt? Because I can't hear myself. I don't know what's going on with
Matt Morrell says yes.
Okay. I would say the Patriots had the best offense that they've had in, I would say, conservatively 3 years.
Yes.
Like, that was the most conventional offense they've had. In the pregame show, I said to you when we were talking about the whole Alex Van Pelt thing, and I had mentioned how, when you're down the bottom of all the offensive categories and you're not necessarily doing anything to help, we understand the limitations personnel-wise. Today, there were a dozen or so examples of scheme
sequencing plays
coupled with, without question, the best game that Drake Maye has played out of the 6 games.
Correct.
And the thing I like most about Drake Maye today is coming off the heels of what I thought was his worst game. So, you file that one away and say, he knows he didn't play his best last week, and he came out and he dropped some, as the kids like to say, he dropped some dimes today. He was really, really good today. Right. Now, it's obviously a disappointing end. They had a shot there with, 2:14 to play, 2 timeouts, timeout and the 2-minute warning, and it didn't come together. What are you going to do? But I just loved the way he played the game today, and I thought that time and time again he was making difficult plays under difficult circumstances. That first crossing route, we're going to get to a lot of this stuff, I know, but the first crossing route early in the game to Douglas for about 25, 30 yards, he's getting buried, jumping into the hit, throwing it the other way. I just thought Drake Maye was exceptional today.
I just want to clean up one thing, Paul, because they did have a chance. 28-22, 2-minute warning. Yeah. They're at the 32-yard line. Was it a miscommunication between the quarterback and the receiver, or did the ball sail?
I think he's trying to make a play down the field. I didn't get a look at the replay. As soon as it happened, I came downstairs. But I mean, he's got to make a jump play.
Here it is right here on your screen.
Yeah.
Good job, Chris, on this.
Yeah.
Douglas doesn't look.
Yeah, that's he's
You're going to see it better from here from the end zone look, Paul, where he looks like he has him. I don't know if the ball sails.
Yeah,
or if Douglas
Douglas
doesn't
don't really look.
Yeah, you're kind of right. Now getting a look at that now, it would have been like just a perfect, dropping it in between 4 or 5 guys there. But it did look like there was a little bit of a pocket.
No question.
That you're talking about, Matt. That's good call by you, I would say. I mean, that's my first real look at the replays here.
And this end zone look is the best look.
I don't know if it sailed on him or if there was a miscommunication. He's looking to, it looks like Douglas is looking to clear out of that congestion.
Right.
And May is like, I'm not going to have time to let you clear out of that congestion. So I'm not positive. But, I think at that time of the game, you got to try to make a play downfield. You can't go, it was 3rd and 13. You can't be throwing it to the sticks and saying, oh, here we go, new set of downs. That's not going to work.
Right, and I don't want to go all Zapruder film on the final play there because I think if you watch the game and understand where this team is at this particular point in time in their development, the bigger point is here, the quarterback played his best game.
I thought
he
was really
by
good.
far.
We got Mike
So
just came
far
in, too,
of
in the
the
middle,
year.
too. We'll get his thoughts. But I thought he played really, really well today.
So did I, and as a defense guy, I'm not even that upset right now. I'm just excited to see what Drake Maye did. I'm a little bit trying not to think about what the defense did there in the middle of the game. They did turn it around, but I just was so encouraged by what Drake Maye did. And, even just before that final drive, feeling like you had a chance. Like that's what we said to Paul. They're going to take a shot at this point. Last couple years, if they were in that situation, you might have felt like we need 8 plays right now to try to string it down the drive.
Mike, say what you said. I feel like if Mag was still here, we'd be like, okay, let's put together a 12, 13 play drive here.
Right, 12 play, 55 yards. But, just to feel like you had a chance. And I feel the growing confidence. I totally agree with what Paul said, though. It felt different today to me. It felt like a functional offense. It felt like things were kind of in sync. I know it wasn't, overwhelming, but it feels like they're starting to stack things. And I can't remember feeling this good after a loss right now. Like, that was a close game. That was kind of a fun game to watch.
It was definitely a fun game to watch.
It was a fun game to watch, as I think I said when I was all by myself here, by the by. And I wonder if we're glossing over some of the things that are maddening to watch because
we'll get to those.
while they certainly lost on the line of scrimmage.
We have a lot to talk about today. Yeah,
they lost the line of scrimmage badly on both sides. And yet they still had a chance to win the game at the end, which I think speaks volumes about how the offense played.
Yep.
But it doesn't speak
Sean Smith.
Okay, well, yeah.
That's who it says volumes about.
Penalty aided.
That was one of the most insane calls that I've ever seen change the entire complexion of a fourth quarter, of that getting called for taking a guy off the pile when he was standing up. That was like an egregiously bad call. But I'm going to also say this. Can we put the illegal formation penalties away? The one that was called on the Patriots in the first half.
Remember me?
So I just want to state it. Like, I'm pretty fair. I think that they're just awful.
Right.
I think that these guys are awful, and I think they've been put here, Matt, just to take away our enjoyment of watching NFL football games. That's what I think of the officiating now in all of these games. I'm tired of. There's a Cooper Kupp comes out of his break. Marcus Jones is holding him a little bit by the. There's the flag. No, we're going to talk about it for 5 minutes, then we're going to pick it up. The next series, Kendrick Bourne runs down the sideline. There's no contact at all between two guys. We're going to call this pass interference. They flip coins, make it up, and it just completely takes away a large deal of the enjoyment for me watching these games. Every play that gets made, I immediately look at the field.
Yeah. I think
see where the flags
we're sort of
are.
trained for that now, aren't we?
Like, we can't even get a punt. There's a guy gets called for an illegal formation on a punt in the last play of the game, the last drive of the game. But that call on Jerod Verse for removing a guy from the pile, while that guy was standing up, by the way, on a failed third down, it's fourth down, the game's over if they punt there. Completely changed the tenor of the game. Can you imagine if the Rams ended up losing that game 29-28, and that's the difference between making the playoffs or not? That call that had nothing to do with the play? Can you imagine if you were a Rams fan and you lost on a play like that? Like, these guys are just so over-officious. And for me, if they don't ruin it for you, that's fine. They're so over-officious, they take away a lot of the enjoyment of the game. And I said that on the first quarter when they stopped the Patriots drive on that great play that May made to hit Hunter Henry, which should have put him down inside the 15.
What a throw by May on that play.
And we got to get called for an illegal formation because the tackles, now in fairness, the tackle and guard were in the backfield. But I don't care. Like, I don't need, that doesn't affect the play. I don't need every one of those called. And if you're going to call it, I want you to call it every play.
Like they do against when the Chiefs are playing.
I want you to call it every play that it happens.
Right.
So I don't want this to be like, oh, he's trying to be over the top, against the Patriots because he works for the. This is not a for or against officials. I mean, like team-wise, this is just against the officials in general.
You're saying across the board.
I think they're incompetent, and I think they ruin games. How's that? That's my
a rant. That's a rant.
I just let him go.
That's
let him
a
go.
rant. 855-PATS-500 is the TPX hotline. We want to hear from you. And electronic mail works. We want to read from you as well. You can email us at podcast@patriots.com. All right, so we got a bunch of things off our chest there, Matt. Let's go to the good, the bad, and the injured, please.
Now it's time for the good,
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
the bad,
Hey, what happened?
and the injured.
You all right, Gay?
Okay,
Matt,
thank you.
Paul is desperately looking for
I'm looking for
DEFCON,
I need
DEFCON
power.
3, Matt.
I need
DEFCON
power,
3.
man.
Paul needs a power cord. All right.
Paul's wound up.
Is there
Here, I'll do it.
there is there any doubt as who is in the leadoff spot for the good, Mike and Paul?
Go ahead, Mike.
Let's do it. Drake Maye, come on
The
down.
refs, Paul?
Maybe later.
No, Drake Maye, he's growing before our eyes, and that's just exciting. That's what we talked about all summer. What do you need this year? We need to see Drake Maye step up, grow into this role. Is he the guy? And I think each passing week he's showing you more and more reason why he can be the guy, despite some limitations around him. Certainly, as Paul was pointing out during the game, you had some pressure in his face. I mean, just some of the throws that he was able to make. I think what's intriguing to me is that it's just a growing sense that you have a margin of error with this kid if you get the right pieces around him. Right now it feels a little bit like he's trying to do a lot by himself, and I think some guys did step up and support him a little bit today, but as you put the pieces in around him, I think this kid's always going to give you a shot, and that was the growing confidence I felt there at the end of the game. I didn't know for sure that it was fait accompli, that this was over. This kid has a chance to make plays down the field, to make plays with guys in his face, and that's just exciting. I think that's all we've been kind of wanting around here, was a quarterback that gives you a chance every week, no matter how it's kind of going, no matter who's in the lineup, who isn't. I think Drake Maye's that guy, and this was just a fun day to watch him play and grow. It wasn't perfect, certainly.
No.
You still see some of the things that are going to be issues for him as he goes along, but that's A-okay by me. You're seeing him grow every week, and it's awesome to see.
My two requisites, and I say it all the time, they don't move the ball and they don't score points. Well, they moved the ball today. They didn't score a ton of points, but they scored some. And it just, everything Mike said, I would just echo. 30 for 40 for 282, 2 touchdowns, two more turnovers again. I'm going to exonerate the last one, desperation, just got to try to make a play. But he's the singular reason why you were competitive in this game.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. There were a couple, Paul, I see you've pulled the stats up. There are a couple 12-play, 13-play drives that they didn't capitalize on when you're talking about long drives and things like that. But that goes into some of the decision-making that was made.
Yeah, that might show up later.
Yep, I would think so. Okay, so universally we all hats off to Drake Maye in his best game as an NFL player. I think that's an easy one that we can all say.
Can I just say one thing, Matt? I don't want to put this on the good list, but I just want to piggyback on what you just said about the sustained drives, because it's not something that has a spot on the list, but I think it's related to Drake Maye, and it's just impressive in the second half. They had 4 straight scoring drives, 9 plays, 13 plays, 10 plays, 13 plays. It's just a little bit of rhythm to this offense, a little bit of, and granted, look, I wrote it in my thing I just wrote. There were a couple of those where 30 yards were in penalties,
Yes.
they got helped along the way a little bit for sure, but they're staying on the field and and he's able to play more because of it. So Rams helped them out a little bit in that regard, but I like in the second half that they were able to hold the ball a little bit.
Yeah, 30 yards a penalty. You get a face mask, you get a face mask. That's a penalty. It's the first one. If I'm Sean McVay and I lost that game, I would have assaulted that guy on that call. The game is over. He extended the game.
I think the frustrating thing about that, Mike, is you point out on the Patriots end, but on the other end, you're letting them score in consecutive drives. The only thing that held them back was the goalpost when the kicker doinked it, because they would have scored on 5 consecutive drives.
We'll get to that.
No.
This is the good.
I know. I was just telling you about how frustrating.
Don't get me started on the defense right now, Matt. This is not the time for it.
And Fred, we just started, so you can jump in. We just sort of, Mike and
State
I.
holiday tomorrow, Fred. Just FYI, Paul and Mike have determined tomorrow is Drake May Day. Governor Healy has already declared
here
it's the
for
day
it.
off.
In a good way.
You know,
May Day
and
in a
that
good
might
way.
not be a coincidence that I was so high on Drake May coming out of college, and I'm sort of, I'm a little.
You feel
I'm
validated,
I'm a little, as Fred likes to say, I'm smelling my own farts a little bit on Drake May.
How they smelling?
Pretty
Boss
good.
man, let's a little instant analysis from you.
What are we doing? Good.
We just started
just
the good list, and
glowing
we just
about
like we're
Drake,
glowing
Yeah,
about Drake
no,
May.
obviously May for the Patriots is a story, but I think the secondary story is our defense. Rams are a kind of team that stresses you all levels of the field, and it's our defense isn't really suited for that yet.
No.
You know,
And I
like
at
how you put that,
the
Fred.
risk of picking on
We're not
somebody,
suited for this yet.
You know, there's
Too much.
There's a reason
Too
why
much.
when you have a practice squad linebacker in coverage on the play, there's a reason he's a practice squad guy. He shouldn't be playing as much as he's playing.
Right.
Gives you everything
who's
he's got. Ellis, you know.
No, he's not a practice squad guy. He's one of the guys. He's one of your
but-
players.
But I mean,
you know what he's talking about.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
They've got too many guys out
the
of place.
defense is not good.
Yeah,
Right.
The
That's what I'm
defense
s-
had a good game against a
Inferior-
completely dysfunctional Chicago team
Right.
that fired its offensive coordinator in the aftermath of it.
Yep.
That's the one outlier. Like, this is what's happened every week.
And the Rams are a good offense. You know,
Mostly,
Stafford,
yeah. Today they certainly were.
Nakua.
They
Cup.
certainly were good today.
Yeah.
Those are three pretty good guys.
The pull to flame the defense. It's pulling me. I
All
can't
right,
do it yet.
well, you know what? Let's stay on the good side. Paul,
Okay.
Next, please.
My good list. So I had Alex Van Pelt, and you know,
called a really
I
good
kinda,
game.
I kind of started this in the pregame. Fred, there was, it's been a lot of Alex Van Pelt needs to go. Why is he under so much scrutiny? And I was like, and a lot of people have been defensive of that. And I said, well, when you're at the bottom of the league in offense, and we understand the limitations personnel-wise, but what are you doing to help it? Today, I saw a lot that he did to help it. And I'm not just talking about like a nice little tackle-eligible play to Verdarian Lowe, which, by the way, I called. The sequence of some of the slants, I thought, were things that really bothered the Rams. I think they were prepared for some heavy pressure early in the game that they got, and they were able to combat it. I thought Hunter Henry was another going concern. I thought Alex Van Pelt did a great job of getting Demario Douglas in space, and Austin Hooper on that little screen on the first drive in space. Really good job, I thought, by AVP, really for 4 full quarters today.
And that first touchdown drive I wrote in my notes, that was the best sequence drive of the year when they scored to make it 7-0. And a lot of those plays you just mentioned, Paul, but he set them up a little bit, and that was as well as they looked on offense, in my opinion, all
on
year
the
long.
play where Polk had the false start, getting a little too cute with what was, I don't know what was going to happen, but May went.
It's a good question.
Yeah, May went wide. It was going to be some type of trick play.
It's a different list, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's a different list.
Right.
Yeah. But you were talking about AVP. I mean,
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I have no complaints with AVP today.
No.
You know.
Yeah, he was an asset today.
Yeah.
He helped them today.
Yeah.
Mike?
Kendrick Bourne. I just thought he brought a spark, caught a touchdown. Not playing last week. Thought this was what you want out of Kendrick Bourne, making some big plays, delivering the team needed him to. I thought that touchdown was, nice run you're seeing here, right here, the touchdown. Nice, tough catch for him. But I just thought he brought that energy that we've been kind of waiting for him to. So whatever buttons they're pushing on him with last week and all that stuff, let's hope it's behind him because he's showing a little bit of a spark. You're seeing a little bit of how it looks with Bourne and Booty working together.
Well, can I expand on that just a little
Please.
bit for the guys? I don't have the snap count here in front of me, but Bourne, Booty, who did have a drop, and Douglas, your wide receivers, he spread it around a little bit. They looked like NFL players.
Yeah.
We're a position that's been criticized, deservedly so, for the entire year. Those guys look like, I'm not telling you they're set at wide receiver. I'm not saying that by any stretch. But they looked like a professional NFL group at wide receiver.
They look like real receiving numbers. I mean,
Yes.
it's just if you're a stat watcher, 5 catches for 70 yards, 6 for 63, 5 for 50. This is much better than what we've been seeing, where it's one
a
guy.
first.
Yeah,
with
I
catches.
liked Bourne today. I had him on my list too, Mike. I thought he gave a little spark, and I thought this was one of Demario Douglas's best games
Yes.
in 2 years.
He made a cut on that first touchdown drive
Wow.
that was
He made that
just
guy look
obscene.
silly.
He was
Yeah.
elusive, and he was. I thought he was playing fast today, as the kids like to say.
Yeah.
He was,
A lot of kids stuff today. You're
I
talking
did
to
not
kids.
like Booty's game today at all. I did not have him on. I had him on a different list.
Okay.
But I had. I thought.
There's the cut. Nice job, Chris.
I would.
Nice blocking downfield by Booty as well.
I would co-sign on Mike's leading off with Bourne. I thought he gave that energy that everybody talks about all the time, and we saw it today. I thought he was good.
Okay, Paul, next.
Hunter Henry. I just feel like he's a fixture on this list every week. He's so steady, and I would put Hooper too. And I mentioned Hooper on the first
screen.
drive, but Henry, takes some hits, big third down catches, gets open when Maine needs a completion. Henry gets open consistently.
Mr. Third down.
6 for 63, it looks like. So another good day for him.
Yep.
Okay, Michael.
Another one. Let me see. Where was I? Come back to me.
All right. That's okay.
I mean, he had maybe a couple tackles, maybe a pressure, but just to see him out there, Barmore, put him on the good list. Just to have him out there.
That's fair. Tough to put a lot of good on the defense
I know,
today.
But he wasn't out there a lot. For some
correct.
of it.
Any other on the good list, Mike and/or Paul?
I think that's kind of it for me. I think.
So I'm down to I'm with Mike. I'm down to individual plays, and I had I gave a little attaboy to Javon Baker for the opening kickoff return. Broke a tackle, got out over the 40, 45. You set up shop and really good field position to start the game. And then, as bad as the defense was, it's desperation time. You need some plays. In 2 out of 3 plays on the last 3 plays, Keon White, huge pass deflection to knock one down.
If he doesn't have that play probably goes for like 20, 25 yards.
And even if it goes for like 5 yards, it's a catch. It's the clock is running.
Right.
They're in field goal, like all that stuff. So that was huge. And then Jonathan Jones is able to rip the ball
really competitive play
away
by
from
Jonathan
Puka
Jones.
Nacua after getting absolutely dominated for the entire game.
Right.
The whole secondary, and I'm not picking on Jonathan
Nope.
Jones. The whole secondary looked like it was a high school secondary today. Every incompletion was to a guy who was wide open. There was a handful of passes that Stafford just didn't make.
Right.
But every incompletion had nothing to do with the Patriots except for that one. And that was with the game on the line. He gave you one final shot. So those 2 things I had on my good list. Keon White, and then 2 plays later, Jonathan Jones.
All right, do you want to kick off the bad, Paul?
All right, the secondary. I would you know what? I'm going to start with just the overall scheme, and I'm not Buddy Ryan, with the 46 defense. I'm not breaking down film or anything, but whatever you're designing to have Keon White out in the slot to sort of shadow Cooper Kupp off the line, and then you move him in, and then you just give him an easy 20-yard completion on it. Just a little snap, throw, no one's there. Like, that's poor design. But the most egregious play, second play of the second half, it's 2nd and 9. You go cover 0 on Cooper Kupp, and Jonathan Jones is a step late. He dives, which maybe that was a questionable decision to dive to try to knock the pass away. And then you end up giving up a 70-yard touchdown. Cover 0 in that spot, to me, seemed odd.
Well, I think the broadcast put up some type of stat about when the Patriots blitzed, and they were getting burned all day.
Yeah. And then they got burned again on that one. Yeah, you're totally right, Fred. They put that up at halftime. I think both his previous 2 touchdowns to this were off the blitz. I think he had 1 incompletion, maybe 4 for 5, 5 to 6.
There were 2. There were 2. Next Gen had him 6 for 7.
6 for 7.
With a perfect passer rating, and PFF had him 5 for 7 with like a 152 or something like that. So
how do you mess up?
Dueling analytics against the blitz in the first half. So they come out on the first pass of the second half and they blitz. And that's the result, and that play ended the game.
Sure.
Yeah, it took the wind out of your sails.
100%.
It made you chase the whole second half.
You're chasing the rest of the game.
Yep.
So cover 0 on that. I think as well as they played defensively and schematically last week, I think this wasn't their best.
Regressed this week.
Well, they went back to the norm.
Right.
Is what they did in my mind.
I understand.
But to me, the personnel stuff, like you talk about Christian Ellis and stuff like that, that stuff that's not your fault. But all the stuff I said positively about AVP, I would say negatively about DeMarcus Covington in this game.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he put the players in positions where they could succeed.
No.
Like, you can't have, to Matt's point, Christian Ellis trying to run with these guys. Jelani Tavai trying to run with Cooper Kupp across the field.
Tough matchup.
You got to do something different. Maybe did they play a ton of man today? Because I mean, maybe I just missed. I don't know.
It was a lot of zone, actually.
I thought that's what I thought,
Yeah.
but again, I'm not Buddy Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, DeMarcus is sort of coaching like he's got a decent defense, and like Paul said, you got to
protect them.
You got to know who you are. You got to know who you are.
Well, the zones are to protect you.
Well, I know that,
but they don't have they just don't have enough horses, and they didn't change. I don't know. The Rams, like Fred's right. Like the Rams are a pretty good offense.
So those three are elite.
I mean,
wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
and,
would.
and I know that people don't, people around here especially make fun of me for my Stafford adulation, but does that pass the eyeball test for you at age 36?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the throws that he made today, they're just perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's touchdown pass to Kupp, the second play of the second half. That was.
But how about the touchdown to the tight end in the back corner of the end zone?
Yeah.
Was that Parkinson? I think.
Beautiful
that
play.
one?
Parkinson. Yep.
Yeah. I'll hop on and connect it. We talked about
that's
pressuring Stafford pass rushes for me. Didn't register a stack.
Right.
Didn't register a sack. I mean, he looked comfortable pretty much the whole game. I think those first two punts they forced, Barmore get in with some pressure in his face, brought some guys in. I think Ellis was able to loop around, and you got a little bit of pressure, but there just wasn't enough. You weren't able to affect him. You saw that this is an elite scheme with a veteran quarterback who knows exactly what he's doing. I echo what Paul was saying. It felt a little bit like from a schematic standpoint, we were a little bit overmatched, and they weren't able to adjust. They weren't able to get any way to affect him. He looked like he just had all the time in the world to sit back there and do what he wanted to do.
So interestingly, Paul chose to highlight the secondary as his bad, and that's all well and good. I just think it seemed like it was a total unit breakdown. You talk about the lack of any kind of a pass rush or anything like that. That whole side of the ball kept you from, having any kind of control in the game. And with the lack of the pass rush, I don't know, what did they run for, Paul? It wasn't a ton, but when they wanted to run, they ran
for plenty.
For
what was Williams? Like you average
Williams
6
was
yards?
15 for 86 for 5.7 a carry.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 yards a carry pretty much. So they, once they figured things out in the start of the second quarter, they pretty much could do whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah, and really they averaged about 5 yards a carry because Stafford's down here for 4 kneel downs for 0 yards.
Right.
I think one of the things, too, I was just impressed with the Rams' offense was how they consistently got drive starters. And we were talking about it in the press box where how many times on their drives, first or second play was a big play and got them out of their side of the field.
I don't think they converted a third down until the third quarter.
They went for
which
stretch.
tells you
crazy.
something.
It's so crazy because they're 2 of 8.
They didn't need to.
They were 2 of 8 for third down. They didn't even face one on that long touchdown drive.
Just the fact that they only had 8 third downs the whole game.
Right.
They couldn't get the third down. I mean, you don't get a sack. You don't register a takeaway. It's really hard to live that way, and that's why you felt like the Rams' offense was kind of dictating to the Patriots' defense pretty much the whole game.
Okay, Mike, I'll let you go next.
I'm going to say red zone offense. That was a little bit of a problem last week. This week they were 2 for 5, and that's a spot for Drake to continue to improve. Hardest spot in the field to do it. We talk about it in training camp. That's where they start red zone offense. A lot of these games might be a little bit different if they're starting to finish a little bit more consistency with touchdowns. So I think that's the next kind of place to be conquered by this offense is making sure you convert when you get into that red zone. But, hey, they got there 5 times, so I will give them a little bit of credit for moving the ball like that.
Yeah. And,
Fred.
What's that?
Window open.
Yeah. No, we'll see.
Red zone ball.
No one knows what you're talking about.
James Cook is on my fantasy.
We'll see.
Okay.
Fred, do you have anything?
Bad?
Yeah.
Sneaky bad. No big plays, but the coverage is, on kicks today.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that great,
Sneaky bad special teams.
No,
again.
How about, that you can't block up the extra point?
Well, the extra point, you get,
that just
get blocked.
That just changes it just changes the complexion of everything. And I was having a texting contest with a colleague where their return game in the punt return has been pretty good. It's been pretty consistent. They make some plays on special teams, but every week there is a special teams gaffe, and that's the until they can stop themselves from hurting themselves on special teams, it's hard to call it an asset at this point in time, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
Yep.
It's another misstep on special teams, and then to compound that, you get that PAT blocked, and then the ensuing kickoff, you allow them take out over the 35-yard
Correct.
line.
Right.
That was back-to-back. Thank you, Paul, for bringing that up. I had that on my notes because as soon as that happened, I mean, that's just like those are the hidden yards that I know has got to drive Jerod crazy or should drive Jerod crazy.
Yeah, every yard counts, when you're struggling,
Yeah.
What
else on the list, Michael?
I think I think I got everything off my chest there. I know Paul might talk about booty, though, right?
No, I mean, not egregiously. I just thought it was a bad drop
Yeah.
on the first third down or the first drive.
Zoe said it was the sun.
Okay.
He did.
Yeah, I know. We also blame the game on the refs.
Did he really?
Oh God, he was. I was getting texts throughout the game, and at one point, Fred goes, "Oh, that's a hold." I go, "Easy, Zoe."
No, but there were some missed calls up the line.
There was one that you were talking about.
Yeah.
That I think it was
Barmore
got tackled.
Right. Yeah.
And he absolutely did. See,
Fred,
I went on a
ride
rant
home,
at the beginning.
You might want to listen
They're
to
awful.
Paul at the very beginning.
They're awful, and
the other
they're
one,
awful both ways.
The other guy had Farms by the face mask the whole play.
Right.
He was just dragging him across the line by his face mask.
Right.
I did not see that one,
Yes.
but I don't doubt you because I think that these guys are just incompetent boobs. But I think it's worth just talking for a second about decision making. And Mike talked about the red zone and specifically when they're the rhyme and reason for going for. Okay, so 3 or 4 weeks ago, all the analytics people talked to me until I was blue in the face about how wrong I was about the whole down 15, cut it to 9. No. You don't want to go. You don't want to kick it. I mean, you don't want to make it 8, right?
Need to know what you need.
You need to know what you need. So today, what happens in the same spot, down 15? They kick it. Now it got blocked, so you're still down 2. And I looked at, I know this is going to come as a surprise, Matt, but I'm a little snarky. I go, the good news is we know what we need. But why the difference?
Yeah.
Why the change in philosophy? I don't have to agree with what your philosophy is, but I would really appreciate it if you had one.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4 weeks ago, it wasn't that much difference in the time either. This was early fourth quarter, right? I'm just trying to look where the kick was blocked. Yeah, 12:46. So for a difference of about 4 minutes, because I think there was 8:33 left in London when they did that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't there be a little bit more time? Wouldn't that be more of a reason to go for 2 in that situation?
So now you know what you need longer.
Well, but you have more time.
Right.
So now 2 scores isn't insurmountable.
Yeah.
As it turned out, they had the ball in plenty. They didn't run out of time.
Right.
At the end, they didn't execute at the end.
Yeah.
They had 3rd and goal from the 2. Then they get stuffed. And you kick a field goal there. How do we feel about that field goal?
Right.
Well, a lot of people did not like that.
Yeah, as well as they did not like eschewing, is that the right pronunciation? Eschewing a field goal attempt in the first half when they could have kicked in that case. It would have been a long kick. I think it was 52 yards.
55-yarder. So I want to get to that
I
a
thought
little
it was
bit
57.
too. It was
No?
55.
Oh.
It would have been 55, but my moles tell me that Joey Sly was really struggling kicking in that direction pregame.
Your moles must be on Twitter because I saw it as
He
well.
missed from 48, 54 off the upright, and then he was wide right from 58.
Okay.
That was about 55. So maybe that had something to do with it.
Right.
So I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass for that one.
Okay.
And so you think that question will be asked of the coach probably post game. So giving
As
him
long
an
as Mike Reese
opportunity
is there.
to give him the opportunity to ask
Or
that.
Phil Perry.
Right. No, I just think because of those things that you mentioned in pregame, I think somebody will ask him the question.
Yeah,
That's all.
I would wonder if that had something to do with it. I just thought again, these decisions are not black and white. Like we're going to go for it on 4th and 2 from the. No, there's no right and wrong answer. I'm asking how we all feel about these various decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not necessarily killing Jerod Mayo for not going for it. I do think it's contradictory, the whole down 9. Down 9 with 8.5 minutes left, we're going to go for 2 to try to make it 7.
Paul, remind me of the score. Was it 28? Was it 28-10, and they decided to kick the field goal to make it 28-13?
No, I'm talking about the touchdown that they kicked the extra point that got blocked. They made it 28-19. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 28-13. They scored a touchdown to make it 28-19.
Right.
Yep.
You kick it, it's 28-20. It's a one-score game with 12.5 minutes left. 4 weeks ago, you were in the same spot with 8.5 minutes left, and you went for 2 because you told me it was important to know what you needed if you don't get it.
Yep.
So again, I don't need to agree with your decision. I would like it to have some rhyme or reason to
Well, you
it.
have to have feeling of the game, Paul.
But do you think that's what it is?
I don't know.
Like I'm asking.
No, I think
Well, it
that
makes some sense.
that's what it is.
Right.
Like, so what about, do you think the feel of the game today led you to believe that we didn't need to get within one score today, but, I mean, we needed to get within one
needed to
score
get
today.
within one score
and didn't
today.
Like, today, I would say it should have been the opposite if it's feel of the game, because today they were moving the ball every time they got it.
Yeah.
Against Jacksonville, it seemed like a miracle that they got one touchdown at the end of that game, let alone they're going to get two more scores in the last 8.5 minutes. Today, I don't know about you guys, but I thought they would. I didn't know if they would score a touchdown, because a touchdown in that spot's hard.
Yeah.
But I thought they would move the ball.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Well, see,
but he took a shot.
Feeling of the game is why I was kind of okay when they went for the field goal inside the 5.
I didn't hate that either.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate
Like,
that either.
I was going back and forth, like, we're not making the playoffs. Just go for the touchdown. Like, be aggressive. Who cares? But then at the same time, I could see, okay, you hit the field goal, you make it a one-possession game.
Yeah.
Little
pressure on them. What I hear when you say that, Fred, and I was thinking about it when Paul was talking about the zero blitz, is the comment that maybe they're not as aggressive offensively, and yet they did what they did on defense to not really protect that defense in that situation. It seems like it goes against each other a little bit.
And it's funny, too, to couple on that. I feel like they're aggressive in their play calling offensively.
Right.
But they're not aggressive with their fourth down decisions. And Evan had something he showed us in the game, that we are actually the least, by some analytic thing, we're the least aggressive team in the league when it comes to those
Nerds.org?
those decisions. You said it, not me.
All right. Anything else on the bad list? Did we?
So I had Rhamondre Stevenson on my bad list today. I thought he had some opportunities in space. I thought a couple of really good checkdowns by Drake Maye. Got him the ball in space, didn't make anybody miss. Fumbled again. I know that we don't remember the fumbles that we recover.
Right. You make sure to remind us.
I had someone claiming what a great season he's having.
Oof.
Just this week, what a great season he's having. Bounce back after a down year last year when he got hurt, and I'm like, does everybody remember that he fumbled the first 4 games of the year?
Right. So the play that we just saw on the screen, and this is the replay of it. Like, first of all, he's getting hit in the backfield, so that's hard to put on him. But there's he runs sometimes. There was a couple times, Paul, where he really lowered his shoulder and tried to get more and kept his legs going when there wasn't much there. And then there are times like this where he's going side, he's tackling in the backfield.
I don't question his effort.
I'm not saying that.
I think that he had the ball in his hands in space a couple times today and didn't make anybody miss.
Yeah.
Because he needs to he needs to plow over a guy. Like that. There was a really questionable call on the screen. They ended up in the field goal that you guys are talking about, where they had 4th and goal from the 2 and they opted for the field goal. There was a screen on that. The defender came up and went low as Owenu was making a block, but he went by Owenu and made the tackle.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how that guy could make that tackle with Owenu in between the defender and the ball.
No.
I don't know how Stevenson didn't make that guy miss.
Yeah.
And the fumble, again, that could have, given him the ball right there, and we wouldn't even be talking about these plays late in the game.
Yeah,
he was fortunate to get that back because there was all Rams there.
Interesting thing to me was the contrast in the running games, because you saw a lot of wide zone from the Rams, and you see with Kyren Williams what it's kind of supposed to look like, and he's a very different back than Rhamondre. He just has an ability to find those seams, whereas Rhamondre, I think he's good in space, he's hard, but in those kind of tight quarters when you saw from Kyren Williams, just the ability to kind of get small, get through a hole, get upfield, he's got a really good ability, real good contact balance. He's hard to knock over. I was impressed with him. He was, even when it felt like there wasn't a lot there, he was still able to get it. He was able to find those seams. Just
finds a way to move the pile a little bit too for a smaller guy.
Yeah, just an interesting contrast.
Corum had a good first half.
Yeah, he helped him on that scoring
I think
drive.
Paul's a little tough on Rhamondre being on the bad list. He did it. I don't think he deserved to be on any list, which might be more of an indictment. But
I just thought he had opportunities to make plays. He had 4 catches and he only got 16 yards. I thought those were opportunities to make plays.
I don't know how well blocked up they were, and I think
they're not blocked. They're checkdowns. Like
so
there was only one screen.
He needs to make somebody miss.
Did you see the amount of green around him when he caught the ball?
Yeah.
Like at least twice he caught the ball and you're like, ooh,
something here, and then
it's
kind of
like
runs into
5 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, 20 carries for 73 yards. I mean, that's
Pedestrian.
yeah, it's just not going to get it done.
Right.
The running game again is Drake Maye makes it look like you had a good rushing day because he averages 9 yards every time he runs it. He did it again today.
What'd they run for as a team? Did they break 100?
120.
Okay.
But 27 of them are Drake Maye.
Right. Yeah. I'm just saying I think you might be a little hard grader on Rhamondre. That's all. What
Well,
else on the
I
bad
don't know.
list?
You average under 4 yards a carry and fumble. That's a bad list today.
Okay.
For me. I mean, I guess I am tough.
I respect it.
Michael, anything else on your bad list?
No, I'm good. I just got the injuries. I
And
think
do we feel like we covered special teams enough to be on the list?
Yeah, the only other
So-
thing I had, like, just they continue to like, I thought offensively they came out really, really strong, and they had opportunities. Their first 3 drives. The first drive gets derailed by an illegal chop block, which was egregious. So that stops that drive. They were moving really well. Then they score.
On their best drive of the year.
Then they have another drive where they're in scoring position, and they get the illegal formation penalty, which short-circuited that drive. And I think, did they get a sack that knocked them out of field goal range? How'd they end up? They didn't even end up with a field goal on that drive. Penalties, like, just they can't seem to stay out of their own way.
Delay of game. Delay of game.
Maybe that's what it was.
Ugh. I mean, delay a game at home. Like, there's just
Well, they
no
were
excuse
lined
for
up
it.
to punt, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
So
they
that's
had-
not the
yeah.
play I'm thinking of
Yeah.
then. There was something else that happened.
I mean, was that the illegal formation?
The illegal
No, that
formation
was before
penalty.
that.
The illegal formation penalty nullified the
There's your
catch
chop
to,
block.
to
That was
Henry.
on. That was on low.
Yeah, that's the definition of a chop block on that. But I also, this would not be why I put Stevenson on the list. Stevenson saved his quarterback
Yes.
on that play.
Yeah.
He
So
had
how
no
about
alternative.
Just not give him a grade today, like as bad. He made enough plays today to keep him off the bad list. How about we agree to
I
disagree
can't
on
think
that?
of a single one.
How about just saving the quarterback there in pass pro?
It was a 15-yard penalty.
No, he also picked up a couple of other
Okay.
blitzes as well.
All right. We'll give him the Barmore banner.
Okay. All right.
That was for you, Freddie.
So that's a good and a bad. What are the injuries today? I don't get them in my office. I don't get the PA announcements in my office.
Curtis Jacobs had a concussion, and he did not,
Did not return.
Marcus
Right.
Jones was okay. He returned
return.
with an ankle. Michael Jordan also returned, and I think that was...
What about the
Aquale.
security?
Aquale? I missed
What about
that
the
one.
security guard in the north end zone? Who got
Yeah,
wiped
oh,
out by
man,
the
I hope
Rams,
that guy's
tight
okay.
end?
I thought it was a photographer
That looks
too.
scary.
I don't
I don't
remember if Aquale returned, but
He got concussed.
they sent him. I absolutely agree
Yeah,
with you, Matt.
he was concussed.
And the teammates told him
Here's
go.
the team ops employee, and I think it's a female.
Oh, yeah.
That's tough. And I mean,
Head on a swivel.
wouldn't
But
be
you're not allowed to.
I know, you
right,
gotta
wouldn't
watch
be
the
surprised
crowd.
if
Oh,
she hit her
jeez.
head
I know.
falling backwards.
I know.
And boy, let's just and the announcing team. By the way, I'm going to throw in my own good and bad on that. Play-by-play, Adam Amin, good. Color Mark Sanchez, first of all, terrible man bun and not a good color analyst. So
No.
that's a bad combination.
It's weird.
But they were saying that the Rams tight end did go after the security. Went to the security.
out?
guard.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh,
went to
makes
make sure
right away.
No, made sure
You're in
that-
my way.
We have a scandal.
I'm trying to celebrate a touchdown, lady. Get out of the way.
Made sure that she was all right. I think checked in
good.
on the photographer, who also was collateral damage on that play. So good for the Rams tight end on being that way.
No cameras were harmed in the making of this NFL game.
All right, so that's the good, the bad, and the injured. We want to hear from you. We see some phone calls and some emails locked and loaded. We're going to take a timeout, and we'll be back with more of the Patriots postgame show, brought to you by DraftKings right after this.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex Disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience,
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes.
Oh no.
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes.
Oh no.
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes.
Oh no.
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Join the conversation by calling into the TPX hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at podcast@patriots.com. Now, live from our studios, here is Matt Smith.
And we welcome you back to the Patriots Postgame Show, sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned, because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. The Patriots lose today to the Los Angeles Rams 28-22. But a quick perusal of the electronic mail, and I think everybody's in on Drake Maye. We start with Dean in Liverpool in the UK. I'm not surprised that we didn't win, but what a great effort by the whole team. No one can say the team isn't fighting, because they're fighting for every inch. I can take getting beat as long as we fight, and we did today. Mike, I'm going to come back to you with a question on that in a second. It looked like miscommunication in the last play, but what an effort by Drake Maye. The sole reason that the Patriots were in the game, thought AVP called an outstanding game, and Drake Maye is it. Mike, last week I really enjoyed what you said when you wanted to say that you wanted the Patriots to become a pain-in-the-ass team.
Yeah.
Were they a pain in the ass today?
I think they're getting there. I mean, I don't think defensively they're that much of a pain in the ass, but I think it comes down to the quarterback, and that to me is, did you feel like you had a chance at the end? Then I'm sure the Rams kind of felt that a little bit with how Drake Maye played during the game, so they're getting there.
I'll be interested to hear what Drake has to say about that last play. Like, what did he see? Because it was pretty clear that Pop wasn't even looking.
Yeah.
So
were you here when Matt was breaking that down?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I just watched it, and as soon as the play happened, I came downstairs, and Matt was talking about exactly what you're saying, Freddie, and he didn't.
Yeah.
He was looking to clear out of that congestion, and Matt, I almost called him Mac. Drake was thrown into that hole.
What are you doing?
What does Evan call it?
What?
The cover 2 hole?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
well, if Robert
had
was
he
there-
been looking, I think there was a chance that they could have made a play.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird. Yeah, it's weird because it looks like there is a window there, but it's either Drake airmailed it and Pop wasn't looking, but maybe in another universe there is a perfect throw and a perfect catch there. But it seemed like there was a small window, but yeah, they just weren't on the same page.
There's some angry emailers, not all on the Drake Maye bandwagon. Any positivity? This is Nick in Phoenix who writes, what positivity should I have going forward with the coaching staff? I understand Mayo and company are in their first year, but every close game seems riddled with bad coaching decisions at every step of the way. Inconsistencies with time management, 2-score deficits, etc. give me a major pause for concern. That's Nick in Phoenix, Arizona.
That's harsh, but
it's harsh,
but fair.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a lot of questionable decisions in a lot of these close games.
I mean, my radar's so up for it, too, like when they had that possession right before the half with the time coming down, and you just, they haven't earned our trust yet with the management of the clock and the close games and those kind of things. It hasn't. I'd say last week around halftime when they, did pretty well, like that was a positive step in the right direction, but I still feel a little bit scared there when it comes down to the end. And, I mean, look at the drive they gave up right before. I mean, they got so lucky that they missed that field goal, but that was just more not good situational football there, allowing them to go right down the field and really probably should have had at least 3 points, if not a touchdown.
So let me ask you this question, Mike. I think everybody in Patriot Nation has accepted and is fine with grading Drake Maye on a rookie curve. Well, he's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. But look at the flash. Look at all these different things. Is it a double standard? Because I don't know that Jerod Mayo and the staff are getting the same sort of favor from the fans.
I think tied into that, I'm going to speak here because this could be a sensitive subject.
Okay.
But I think the
Fred, that's your one. If you need to address
well,
it.
no, I was looking at Deuce, but I think the frustration there, it's not just with Mayo, it's how he was hired. And the fact that there was no other interviews, and a lot of people is that the best coach we could have hired? And they understand he's a first-year coach, but I think the process on how he was hired, makes people say, see, that's what happens when you don't interview somebody and you hire somebody, because you like them. I think that's part of it. So, and that's hurting Mayo, that he was hired that way.
Yeah, and I think
You're getting that on the blog?
I'm getting that from everywhere.
Okay.
And
everywhere.
Just specifically the game stuff, like the 4th down decisions, Bill got crucified for that. Because Bill went from being very aggressive in the heyday to being extremely conservative. Do you remember the amount of static he took on that Thursday night game against Buffalo? The year, it was a miserable year. It was the it was the Thursday night game here, and Buffalo had a 24-10 lead. It was Marcus Jones had a touchdown on the screen. And that was the only offense.
Oh, yeah,
and they weren't really even trying to get back in the game, and people were criticizing Bill for punting from midfield, for trying to lose by a closer margin than the game actually. Do you remember that? He was getting killed
Vaguely.
for that.
I can't remember what I had for lunch. So, I mean,
Steak tips? Chicken?
I'm going to guess Dom steak tips.
I had the turkey.
Steak tips.
But I think the 4th down stuff, they've gotten very conservative late in Bill's tenure, and that's sort of carried over. For me, those are not all black and white, as I said earlier. There's a couple that I would have kicked the field goal today from the 2-yard line. It was 3rd and goal from the 2, and Rhamondre got stuffed for no gain. If they had gotten closer to the goal line, I would have gone for it.
The MIT crowd disagrees.
No,
I think he actually lost a couple yards. On that play.
I think it was no gain. It was it stayed at the 2.
Right.
If they got a little closer, I think I would have gone for it.
That sequence of plays on an otherwise very good day from Alex Van Pelt and the offensive staff, that sequence of plays had left a lot to be desired, I thought. They started 1st and goal from the 5, didn't they?
Yeah, your running back really got to get it in the end zone there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got a power running back. I think you got to get in.
Yeah.
This is Anthony writing in, and I think this is a little odd, maybe given what happens today, but interesting to hear the take nonetheless. Drake Maye is a real deal. We can all agree on that. However, look at how Stafford has not one but 2 elite-level wide receivers and how that impacts a team. You can't have wide receivers like Douglas not even turning around to look for the ball or, again, having key drops in this game. Who do you see the team targeting in free agency next season at the wide receiver position? Paul, you and I are going to disagree. I'm not telling you that the guy was Jerry Rice today, but I see something in Booty that I understand why the coaches see something. He's a little bit different body type than the other guys. I'm not telling you that he's going to be your lead receiver. I think you might have something with him. He might be a decent third type of wide receiver. He generally catches the ball. He had a bad drop today. He blocks a little bit. There's something there with Booty.
I'll take you guys' word for it on the blocking. I don't care about my wide receivers.
Block on your own time?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last 3 now games, like they've caught on to that. They're going to take deep shots with him.
Yeah, I'm not wild about that play.
He's blanketed now on those.
Yeah, I like the slant though. And they use the slant for a bunch of different
I give him
guys
credit
today.
for working his way back on the field because he was almost like written off.
Yes.
Well, I give him a lot of credit for resurrecting his NFL career. I think a lot of people thought that he was going to be done after that gambling scandal.
Correct.
And I give him a lot of credit for coming back from that and making himself an NFL player. But, I mean, 4 catches for 33 yards with a huge drop. Like, I can get anybody to do that. I can get anybody to do that.
I actually didn't think their wide receivers are the problem today. That's all. And
I didn't think the wide receivers were the problem
I'm
either.
keeping them all in the group. I thought they all contributed.
But I judged them individually. I thought Bourne was good, and I thought Douglas was good.
Okay.
Well,
and I know we've already harped on it, but I thought May was flawless in the first half in terms of leading these guys and making it easy for them to catch. I mean, you didn't see any of these catches having to be like really athletic, acrobatic catches. Every ball was precise.
Yeah, it was
and even the one that Booty dropped was right there.
It was perfect. It was the most conventional that they've looked offensively.
Yeah.
It wasn't Drake Maye running around buying
Brady,
time.
Since Brady,
3 years.
Yeah. How about more? Maybe.
They haven't had a game offensively in like that in 3 years. Probably
Mac's rookie year
since Zappy in Cleveland.
Mac's rookie year. Mac never did anything close to that.
No, I'm just saying.
But probably the Zappy game in Cleveland.
It looked conventional at times.
That was it. Yeah.
That was the last time they had a dangerous offense that looked really productive.
Yeah, I would say, well, I know it goes back to Brady, but the Garoppolo stretch that he had when he first came in was about as efficient as you could be as a quarterback, except that it was all quick, rhythmic type of West Coast passes. This was passes from all over the place.
Yep.
On the run, on the move, under pressure, from the pocket. It was the best first half of football that he's played so far as a Patriot.
Well, we said before you got down here, Fred, I don't think there's any question this was his best game as a Patriot.
Yeah.
Now, does Austin Hooper get credit for the phrase "he throws me open"? Or is that an old phrase? Is that one of Paul phrases, one of those new school
that's an
kid
old
phrases?
football
okay.
phrase.
Throws me open?
Yeah.
He threw people open today.
I think you troll me and Mike with those now. I know you know like that phrase.
I don't know that I'd heard that one. I apologize.
Yeah, quarterback.
But it's kind of what
quarterback needs to throw his guys open.
It's kind of what Fred's talking about. Like, don't make it difficult.
Yes.
Like, there's a defender over there. I'm going to throw it, a shade to the other side, so he's going to catch it and avoid that hit at the same time. It's the anti-hospital ball.
Correct.
Yeah.
Noel in Germany writes, first of all, good greetings from Germany. Even though we lost again, I feel pretty good about it. I see some progress, especially with the defensive line. Jeremiah Farms is a bright spot. He really is evolving nicely and brings some power to the interior. Not to mention the best game of Drake so far. There were some really nice throws. Also seeing Kendrick with some crucial catches like the one to end. All in all, love to see you guys. Thanks for the work, Noel. I would have to strong disagree on the defensive line.
Disappointed we didn't hear Ngakwe's name today.
Yeah,
he was out there.
I know
he was out there a little bit.
They didn't really get any pressure. They had a couple of plays that they sold out to get pressure, and he beat it. They didn't really have much pressure. But I mean, I know that I'm a broken record, and I get that. I'm stubborn and all that. But like,
with scratches on it.
It's the difference when you play a quarterback that has some confidence. Like Caleb Williams will be able to do that too. He's just not ready to do that now.
Yeah.
So instead of throwing the ball last week, he was holding it and taking sacks. It wasn't because they were just overwhelming everybody, like with this immediate pressure. He just wasn't prepared to handle it.
And it also wasn't the backup tackle performance that you saw last week, where they played some backup guys and they were able to take advantage of it a little bit.
3 backups in that line
today.
They
had
had
backups
for the
today.
Rams?
I mean, I think it was the first 2 third downs that you felt like there was some pressure going on. It felt like they carried things over from last week, and then there just wasn't anybody winning, straight up one.
That was a good point that Sarah made in the pregame. Sarah Barshop. When she talked about Sean McVay sort of kind of second-guessing himself by rushing those guys off of IR back in last week, and he felt like, we're going to go back to the guys that were playing because we had something going, and that's what I think he did today.
Maybe a sense from the fans of what they thought at the end of the game. This is Jeff with a G in Virginia who writes, is Pop still running in Rhode Island yet without looking for the ball? I've never seen a wide receiver do that. May is awesome, though. Future is bright.
Well, I think Paul's point of maybe he thought he was running just a clearing out route where he's not really thinking he's getting targeted on the play, and he's just more trying to pull coverage with him. I mean, look, they just weren't on the same page, so I'm not going to defend him or say that anybody was right or wrong.
I don't know, but like in the Vince Ferragamo School of Quarterbacking, do they teach that you're supposed to be able to know when your receiver's ready to catch the ball? You should be able to see that, he's not looking at me, I'm not going to throw him the ball. I mean, because Maybe I'm just saying, maybe May has some culpability here.
Well, the only culpability that May could possibly have is that Pop ran the right route and he threw it in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Like, you can't wait for a guy to be looking. 95% of completions
No,
in the
I know,
NFL
but this was kind of like
a guy is looking.
This was not your conventional play, I don't think.
No, it's desperation.
Right.
Like, you need to, it's like Mike and I were saying, he's going to throw one downfield. Like, you're not going to dink and dunk your way down the field in that situation.
Well, I'll be really curious to hear the answer to that one.
855 Pats 500 the number. Brandon from Dallas, Texas joins us first on the Patriots postgame show presented by DraftKings. Good afternoon, Brandon.
Brandon,
are you there?
Brandon is gone.
Wanted to talk about the Rams.
Brandon is no longer here. Let's go to Daniel in California. Daniel,
Brandon Mitchell.
You're first up on the Patriots postgame show presented by
Texas
DraftKings. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Surprisingly, this is the happiest that I've probably felt after a loss.
Wow.
Drake was phenomenal in my opinion. Easily his best game yet so far, and it's just short-term stint. With this performance, I saw a stat that he became the first quarterback since Tom Brady in 2019 to record 100 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter. So that's just off a bad quarterback play that we've had in the coming years. I truly believe that he could have been better without the receiving drops and of course defensive struggles on third down. But of course Matthew Stafford is the great quarterback, veteran quarterback. Credit to him. Still, credit that I want to give is AVP deserves serious praise for the play calling. It seemed like Drake had lots of control and command of the offense, and I'm sure you guys agree that it seems like we can definitely build off of this game. Offensively, it seemed like we had an actual offense.
I agree.
That we haven't had in a couple years. Obviously, we need more firepower. I do think Booty and they're all good, and Douglas. I love the offense, like for what we have. I think we're doing good for what we have, but it looks like a real offense. So I was impressed. I was seeing what you guys think we can build off of this.
Well, all right, Daniel, thank you for the phone
today
call.
It looked like a real offense.
Conventional offense is what PFW Paul called it earlier.
Will this
real offense.
Rams game be the point where we can look back and say
they never lost again?
This is the game where they showed that they can move the ball against a good team.
As I said during the week when you tried to do this, it's not quite the same when you're playing the 4-5 Rams instead of the defending Super Bowl champs.
Did Miami beat the Raiders today? I think they did. Okay,
so
Miami's
can I ask a question?
In a position now where they're really fighting for their playoff lives now. They think they're in it.
Matt, it'll be same thing next week that you said. Miami's playing for a playoff position.
Yep.
This is a really dumb one.
I'll be the judge of that.
Booty dropped the third down pass on the slant on the first drive of the game. I don't remember another drop.
There was, and I failed to write the person's name. I have another. You know why? Because it was the only time that he was targeted.
Jaheim Bell.
Yeah,
hit him right in the hands.
And the guy knocked the ball right out of him.
No, but it was a drop. He should have had it.
Okay.
Again,
I thought the guy raped it right out of the hands, like Jonathan Jones on Puka Nacua. I thought it was very similar. The guy made a really good play.
Man Bun had, I think, Bourne with the drop on another play where Bourne got absolutely lit up.
Bourne was targeted 5 times and caught 5 passes.
No, that's
so
just
somebody
a drop,
else
Paul. Just a drop.
Yeah, I thought the guy.
They just showed it.
I know. I saw it 7 times. I thought the guy raped it out of his hands. like just raked it right down.
This is Andre in New Jersey who writes, I love it when Paul gives the refs the business. He's a beautiful,
do I
angry
hate
man,
refs.
and I'm
See,
here
watch this
for
one.
it.
Watch this one. Ready?
Team PP.
Hand in.
Yeah, he rips it right out of his hand.
No.
I'm not saying it couldn't have been caught, but it's like that's a pass defense.
Oh,
Just like Nakua could have caught the one at the end,
it
but
goes down
Jonathan
as a-
Jones knocked it out.
It's a drop. That was a drop.
Intriguing email from Jeffrey in Canada who writes, this is my opinion, but I think I'm now convinced in the debate between upgrading wide receiver or offensive line, it's the offensive line that must take priority.
Really?
I still want both, but I think we're seeing that May can make decent receivers look pretty good. But he can't survive from free rushers coming off his blind side on a weekly basis. That said, do you think May's play has reached a level that free agents would be more open to coming into New England to play with them?
Yes. I mean, I've felt like that since the first time I throw the ball down.
I
the
say
field.
no.
Right. Might money be the key on whether a free agent comes
to
to New England or not?
Yeah.
Don't you think they're going to need to get paid?
Yes.
It's going to come down to money.
It comes down to money.
Right.
They got money.
Yes.
Yeah. They got money.
Show me the money.
Right. All right. Let's check
So,
in.
This is going to surprise you, Matt.
What?
Fred convinced me that the wide receiver is more important than the offensive line this week.
So if you're
with
going
a very compelling argument
let's
that
go then,
stuns me.
because I want to hear it because I would disagree right out of the chute. But let's go.
All right. Well, okay. So my contention is, I'm not saying that you don't need to upgrade
Of
the
course,
offensive
Correct.
line.
We're all in agreement.
But you're
that they're
telling me
badly
you're saying
used.
what the priority is.
But
Yes.
what I'm saying is, especially with a quarterback like Drake Maye, give me 5 good linemen, and Drake Maye will make it an elite offensive line. You don't need to spend assets on, a high-priced, high pick on, let's say a left tackle, and look for that one stud. I'd rather have 5 good guys than 1 or 2 really good guys and the rest bums, which could happen. I'd rather go for good play across the line. Now, I'm also assuming that I've got a decent offensive line coach. I think that's important. But I give me 5 good linemen, and you can get by in the NFL.
And
you
Fred's
don't,
point was you don't need to get the stud left tackle in the top 10.
Right.
You can just get a good left tackle maybe in the second round, and that'll be okay. And Fred really made a compelling argument and convinced me.
Let's look at Matt Light.
You like being sarcastic.
I'm
that
not.
never happens to me.
No, I know. You still seem completely befuddled that you lost an argument to Fred.
It's the first time in 20 years. What am I going to do?
I can't believe it.
First time he's admitted it, but that's okay.
That's probably fair.
I'll take my victory where I can.
Okay,
no, but
so-
it's not even a matter of winning the argument. That's just how I feel.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm being dead serious when I say I didn't really think of it that way. I've been very much, I don't want to do it. I hate it. I hate having to do it, but they got to get a left tackle.
I mean, they do,
but
he
do,
doesn't
but they
have to be a
in the
stud.
first round. That's
Right.
the whole point.
Just be competent at the position. As like Paul said, let's at least not get guys who've never played the position before,
Right.
which is what they did this year.
Right. So they're 11 games in, and you want competency. Okay, we can agree that Owenu, even though he's been kind of jerked around and admittedly
keep
has not
him
had
around.
a good year.
But I'll keep
He's
him
a keeper.
around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have no choice.
Yeah.
You're giving him $19 million.
Right.
Okay. I think Vidarian Lowe has earned a spot in the rotation.
I'm looking to
a spot as an offensive lineman.
Okay.
I don't want to say he's going to start.
On the bench.
Oh,
yeah.
He's earned a roster spot?
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
fine with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, roster spot.
Yeah, keep him around.
I don't want him starting.
But I
And then after that, I think it's the rest of the line is up in the air. And what, if anything, can they determine in the last, how's my math here, 6 games, can they get anything out of Wallace? Can they get anything out of Robinson? So they can at least say, well, these guys can play and are part of the future going forward or not. My guess is they'd rather see City So do something other than be the lead fullback on a short yardage situation.
Yeah.
That's kind of telling that.
And I'd also like to
telling that that's where he plays.
And I'd also like to get an objective opinion from somebody on the inside as to whether or not Scott Peters is a good offensive line coach, because I don't know.
Right.
This is his first year doing it as the guy.
Yep.
Now, maybe he's really good. Just give him a little bit better talent. It's going to be fine. Great. But I think you need a good offensive line coach.
Yeah, I would look, too, just down the stretch here with Trey Jacobs. And if Caden Wallace were to come back, and if they make a effort to put him in at right tackle, I think it would just signal, like, we don't really know if Trey Jacobs is going to have any kind of future at a right tackle. Well, yeah, I mean, he's been a journeyman. I mean, he is what he is, but he's played there and he played okay.
Out of necessity.
So are they going to try to get
Ben
Wallace
Brown?
in there? Well, sure.
Who are you talking about?
Trey Jacobs.
Trey
Jacobs.
Jacobs at right tackle. But I think in a perfect world, you come out of the season feeling like Caden Wallace could be your right tackle. So do they make an effort to youth movement, put him in at the right side as soon as they
trying to
can?
do at wide receiver, Mike?
He's hurt. Yeah.
Right?
Is he on IR? Is he coming back?
No, he's not.
I don't think he's on IR. No.
I don't think so.
So how hurt is he?
Who are we talking about?
Get back in.
Wallace.
Caleb Wallace.
Wallace is on IR.
Wallace
Oh, he is
Caden,
on IR.
not Caleb.
Okay.
Been on IR for like 8 weeks.
Oh,
yeah,
has he?
he's been out for a long time.
Okay.
But here's the thing: is I don't think that you can figure out now about those two guys if they're
No, you can't. It's too late.
Yeah, they could play,
Yeah.
and I think that would be a positive step. And Mike and I have been on this all year. Like, you need to get these two guys in there, but you're not going to be able to say like, oh, we got this locked down now
Right.
because he plays the last 6 games.
Yeah.
Are they part of the future or not? That's the question.
Well,
I think
they're
going to
be second-year guys next year. They're not going anywhere.
Okay. 855 Pats 500. Cameron from North Carolina joins us next on the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings. Good afternoon, Cameron.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. I want to start off by giving Drake Maye obviously and AVP their credit. I really thought, especially in the first half, I really thought the play calling and the creativity. I really thought Van Pelt was kind of in his bag with things. Things seemed to really be flowing seamlessly. Moving the ball was excellent, and it was definitely a positive thing to see. My one question, though, is really as far as the defense goes. I know that Nakua and Cooper Kupp are kind of a two-headed monster, but as you guys have kind of been covering throughout the week, saying that you guys felt like Kupp was a little more washed, due to injuries and age, of course. So that being said, why do you guys think that the switch, at least in the second half, I think it should have been all game. Why Gonzo wasn't more on Nakua? I guess I understand the first half maybe being they had a game plan, but then I think he torched Jones for over 100 yards in the first half, and why there was an adjustment made at least in the second half, because there were some big third downs that Nakua had in the second half, especially that 3rd and 3.
Well, I heard,
Kim, thanks for the phone call.
I heard a lot of that. Like, why isn't Gonzo on Nakua? But they were in zone a lot,
right?
Yeah. And
they all got beat a lot,
right?
Like, this was. I know that the numbers were going to probably come out, and he didn't give up any catches again today. But there were guys open on every single play with everybody around them, and everybody like. This was a tough day. This was a tough day for the secondary.
I mean, was there anyone that Gonzo was on all the time? I don't think so,
No.
right?
Not that I saw, but I'm watching the TV copy. I will say that a pregame topic about needing a second cornerback really came to fruition.
You didn't get any pushback on that, did
Nope.
you?
No, and it showed up in a big way today. And it's Nakua and Kupp this week. Next week it's Waddle, and maybe even a banged up Tyreek Hill is dangerous.
The great thing about having May when it comes to the draft is you don't need a quarterback.
Right.
The bad thing is you need everything else.
So, and this is like, so we've been talking for over an hour now, and I could not possibly disagree with anything positive that's been talked about with May in the offense today. But this is an illustration of why I believe that you need so much more offensively. You had 382 yards. You controlled the ball for almost 40 minutes today. You did everything you want. The quarterback couldn't have been any better. He was 30 for 40 for 282.
Yeah.
And you scored 22 points.
Yeah.
They need
You left points on the field, Paul.
help. Not really. They need help.
Yeah.
They need guys that can make plays. So when you get down in the red zone, like Mike says, and it gets a little tougher, can we get someone to make a play for him?
Right. You need playmakers.
They just don't have. They just don't have any.
No.
Mark and Cheddar calling me out, so we want to make sure we get that out there. Hey, Matt, do you have Stock and Stevenson? You seem desperate to not have him on the bad list. As Paul said, under 4 yards per carry and a fumble has to be on the bad list! ! Next, you'll be saying that Mayo shouldn't be on the bad list as his name is a condiment you like. I actually don't like Mayo the condiment, but I digress. Keep up the great work. That's Mark from Cheddar.
Helmets, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not going to put Mayo on the bad list as well. And
helmets.
I believe that what's the other?
What?
They're not the sponsor, though, are they, Hellman's?
Hellman's is the
They're
sponsor.
Yeah,
We have a sponsor?
Sorry,
Yeah,
we have a
little
mayonnaise
side of
sponsor?
mayo.
Yeah, a little side of mayo.
Oh, sorry.
Sponsored by Hellman's.
And I just, let's agree to disagree, Mark. I don't think Stevenson was enough to be bad. That's all. I also said he wasn't enough to be good.
So, just out of curiosity, if like a Ram picked up the ball and ran it into the end zone, would that have been enough to be bad when he fumbled?
Oh, yeah. Well, that'd be bad.
Like, I just don't. I think he had opportunities to make plays and didn't make any today. I've seen him much better.
He has
than
been
he
better
was today.
Yeah, I think he ran hard in some places because there wasn't a lot of room for him to run.
I'm talking about just opportunities with the ball in his hands to make guys miss. There was a run that he had today that looked like it was going to be a big run, and it was like ended up like 8 yards. Like I was like, whoa! The whole side part was coming right toward us, Matt. Remember? I mean, Mike.
Yeah.
Evan was really high on that one. Listen, he is what he is. Maybe I'm being too hard on him. He's not a make you miss kind of guy.
He's not.
Maybe I'm being too hard on him. But
and I think he might
if
be
you're
a little
if you're going to be a
overvalued
plow
here.
horse, you need to hold on to the ball, and he doesn't.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's
our
5
friend-
fumbles.
Our
and
friend
he's missed games.
Pat from Agawam writes in, actually good one here. Regarding Matthew Stafford, I think he and McVay are probably the second best coach-quarterback combo in the league, behind only Mahomes and Reed. My question for the panel, why do you think this team has not been able to produce any kind of turnovers? I can honestly not remember the last time they had one. Week 3, ? Week 4, from our friend Pat in Agawam. That would be troubling. They are not producing any.
That's true.
Turnovers.
They're not a good defense.
Yeah, they're not a good. I mean, they don't have players that impact the
Ten-
offense.
I think
Tennessee was the last one. They had the
I-
pick in the end zone.
I think what that tells you is that teams that do produce turnovers, it's not just luck. You know, it's not just luck. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just bad plays. But if they do it a lot, that's because they're forcing it. They're forcing.
Well,
right,
some of
you know.
that, some of that is kind of cyclical. Like you get the teams that, get a crap ton of turnovers, and that is the little luck. But there should be a baseline amount of like good defenses. Or, they're in position, they're hitting hard,
They're opportunistic.
They're opportunistic, and they're making some plays. The Patriots have 8 takeaways, I believe, all season. That's an absurdly low number.
That's correct. They're 24th in the league, 8 takeaways, 12 giveaways. They were -4 entering this game.
Would you say 24th in the league in creating turnovers?
24th. Yeah, just overall take in differential.
Yeah.
But I point to the defensive front. I think that's where a lot of these turnovers come. There's guys, in the front who cause fumbles, who get pressure on the quarterback, who forced hurried throws.
Well, how many
who throw
picks do we have
forced
this year?
Bad decisions.
That's 9, I believe.
Yeah.
Not throwing.
No.
I mean, how many have we?
6, 7. I think they have 7.
7.
Right?
So just maybe 1 forced fumble.
6
then?
for May and 1 for Brissett.
No. I'm talking about how many do we?
Oh,
how many
4.
does the defense have?
4 takeaway. I think they have 4 fumble recoveries and 4 interceptions. 4.
Okay, 4.
Yeah,
That's
4 each.
low.
Absurdly low amount of
absurdly
takeaways.
low.
8.
That alone is low.
What Mike just told you, it's like 24th in the league.
Yeah.
That's very low.
No, but I mean, just the picks alone is very low. 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Very low.
Very low.
Damien in Nottingham, England writes, I thought this was the first game since Brady that I didn't feel we were out of it, and that is such a great feeling. I think we need to target a true, here we go, X in the draft, as the list of wide receiver 1 and free agents are not great. We can pick up some good offensive line play and think we need to spend draft capital on defense. That's Damien in Nottingham. Paul, do you think they should be looking for an X or a Z at the wide receiver position?
Mike will answer that because Mike likes to talk about
I
the
only
X
want a
and the Z.
number. I want a number.
I just
one.
want a guy who can get open and catch the
how
ball.
about a guy who can
They
catch the ball
definitely
and
need
get
an
open?
X.
I don't
There's
care
no
what-
question. They
I
need
want
an
a
X.
number 1 who doesn't
I
look
don't
like
care
number
what letter
2.
you give him. Just
Right.
get open and catch it.
Gage from West Virginia is next on the Patriots postgame show presented by DraftKings. Good afternoon, Gage.
I got one big thing, and it was Alex Van Pelt's play calling on that. We were down 2 touchdowns, and he ran the rock 3 straight times.
Oh,
You remember that? And it was it didn't look good. I mean, I felt like we could have passed it because May was 5 for 5 on that drive, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a first and goal at the 5, correct? So they got to the 5, excellent drive, and then they stalled.
Yeah, people were complaining a lot of too many
No.
first down runs too.
Just so you know, they threw the ball on the first play on that, but don't let the facts get.
No, it was we were down 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And we were in field goal range.
And he almost got picked off on first down. Number 3 dropped a pass in the corner of the end zone, right below
ran the ball
us.
3 straight times.
Okay.
We ran the rock 3 straight times on that one play because it was the play. Like May was 5 for 5 or 6 for 6, I can't remember. And we were driving, and we were at like the 33, and we ran the ball 3 straight times and only got it to 4th and 2, and he decided to kick a field goal when we could have easily got a touchdown.
Now we're confusing drives now.
I mean,
when they were down 15, they got down. Matt's right. They got down to the 5-yard line.
Right.
They threw the ball, and the guy dropped a pick. Number 3 had the ball in 2 hands and dropped it.
Covering Henry on the play, correct?
And the next play, they ran Rhamondre up the middle, and he got to the 2.
Right.
Then they ran him again, and he got stuffed for no gain.
Right.
But he's talking about midfield, I think, an earlier drive. But there was some complaints about.
Yeah,
I would say I don't understand why in hurry-up situations on 2nd and 1 they insist on running the ball to get a first down.
I know.
That would be my criticism.
I know. Yep.
But they certainly didn't run the ball multiple times
great.
in a row when they were hurrying up at the end of the game.
Thank you for the phone call, Gage. Al in Italy writes that he's not sharing the positivity. I don't share your positivity. Before thinking of better players, we need better coaches, proven coaches, is what Al from Italy has to say.
It's a lot of what my Twitter feed is saying as well.
Really?
A lot of very unhappy people. Yeah.
Okay, so let's measure that, please, Mike.
About the coaching.
Where is the in the pie of post game? Where is the pie divided between excitement over Drake Maye and frustration with maybe some of the decisions in game?
I mean, I'd still lean towards May because I think at the end of the day, as we've argued many times, the quarterback's the key piece.
Is that what the fans are saying?
But not these ones. But of course, that's a sample size from a certain social media outlet.
So that's a sewer that is
that
Twitter.
peddles in negativity. Okay. Usually, that's kind of how it goes with that. But I just feel today a little bit more frustrated with the defensive side of the ball, and just it felt like the Rams scheme. You have a lot of respect for Sean McVay and what he's able to do. I think it's just a little bit frustrating, and this probably will be something to think about over the next couple of days. It's just, you went into that last Super Bowl where this was this incredible scheme, and you got something together to slow it down and to stop it. And this week, for a number of reasons, of course, they just had no answers for these guys in the middle of the game. They started pretty well. They ended okay and gave their team a chance, but in the middle, they really didn't do much to impact the quarterback.
So my guess is this is the sequence that the caller is talking about. This was on the last field goal drive that they kicked the field goal to make it 28-22. So they had 1st and 10 from the Rams 28. They threw a 6-yard pass to Booty. On 2nd and 4, they ran Stevenson for 3, and on 3rd and 1, they ran Stevenson and got stuffed. So now it's 4th and 1, and they're going to go for it. But that's when Polk went offside. He had the false start. So then they kicked the field goal. So they ran the ball twice, not 3 times in a row.
And what was it down and distance on 2nd down? 2nd and 4?
It was 2nd and 4, and then
Stevenson
3rd.
Picked up 2?
And then 3rd and 1.
Okay.
By the way, Paul, I don't know
2
if
carries for 4 yards and couldn't get it.
I just didn't want
with the other team playing pass. Those are the kinds of opportunities that I'm talking about when I've been a little critical. I think those are like, I was joking with you, Fred. The play before the 2-minute warning, they did the Charlie Weiss. We're going to run it on the play before the 2-minute warning. Kevin Falk, 15 every time. We get 2.
Yeah.
Like there's open space there. You gotta get in. You gotta make a play.
Paulie, I just wanted to make sure I highlighted in the postgame show the Marcus Jones on offense. You've been calling for that for a while.
I forgot. I should have included that in my AVP.
What, he had a 6-yard run?
He had a 5-yard run.
5-yard run. I just like to see it. I think
he was coming on the field for another play, and there was some situational thing that happened where he came off the field, but he was going in for another play on offense as well. Ian from Rochester, you're next on the Patriots postgame show. Hi, Ian. Hello, Ian.
Goodbye, Ian.
Is it Ian or Ian? Goodbye, Ian. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Matt Lapien, let's go to the head coach, Jerod Mayo. Please.
Obviously, we'll always be disappointed, walking out of here with a loss. But before I get into the football stuff, hopefully you guys have seen these pins that all the guys are wearing, and we all are out there representing a fallen hero, a fallen soldier, which I think is important. I think the TAPS program, they do a great job. We'll support these guys. As long as I'm here, we'll continue to support them. And today I was representing Army Sergeant First Class Daniel Ferguson. known as Danny to his friends and his family, and really gave the ultimate sacrifice for our safety. So today would have been his birthday. Pretty tough situation, especially coming from a military family. I can't imagine, suffering a loss like that. But I think the TAPS program is a great program. Kind of what I told the guys in the locker room. I never really felt like they had control of the game. I felt like we had control of the game. You look at the first half, I think we only had 1 3-and-out. Offensively, I thought they did a great job on first and second down, which was one of the targets that we talked about. Defensively, not so much. Defensively, they only had, 8 third downs in the game. And you just can't win that way. When you look at the time of possession, you look at the movement we were able to get offensively in the run game and in the pass game, you look at the time of possession, that's part of the formula. We just got to continue to build on it. I will say the guys, came out with energy, and even when our backs were against the wall, they still continued to play hard, which I definitely appreciate. I know the rest of the coaches, and hopefully the fans appreciate it as well, are playing hard. Now, do we need to get better? Absolutely, and that's my job as the head coach of this football team. It starts with me. I have to do better. I'm going to demand more from our assistant coaches. I'm going to demand more from our players. We have enough talent. We have enough talent in our locker room to be a very good football team. We just got to be able to put it together. Couple situations that came up. I'm sure that's going to be part of the discussion. The 4th and 2. Elected to kick a field goal. If it was 4th and 1, probably would have went for it. But it made it a 1-score game. And then the Seattle situation showed up again. And I would say this: every game is unique. It's one of one. And I just felt like when I made those choices, it was the best thing to do for our football team today. Like I said, proud of the way those guys competed. Just got to clean up a few things.
Jerod, with what you just said and with how hard they played, how much do you maybe kind of look at this one as a team you are facing had key veterans at the positions, Stafford and Nakua and Cup, and knew how to make plays when they needed to make plays compared to you guys just battling and trying to learn?
Yeah, it's part of it. And look, you win or you learn. That has to be our mindset. Like, it would be a huge disservice if we don't learn anything from this game. But that's a good football team that we played today. But at the same time, I feel like we had our opportunities.
Jerod, I'm just curious what you saw on that final play where Drake was intercepted. Just kind of what went wrong there?
Just miscommunication. Which, going back to the question earlier, you go back and look at the Rams versus the Seahawks and those guys making those plays down the stretch. It's very impressive. And look, we'll grow into being able to finish and close out these games. Just got to go back to work, get on the practice field. Tomorrow, we'll clean up a lot of this stuff, and then Wednesday is change the page onto the next game.
Jerod, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both went for over 100 yards. Christian was just talking about how the game plan was for him to play on the boundary. Looked like the Rams were able to stay away from him. Do you regret the decision to not have him shadow one of those guys or to adjust quicker?
Not at all. I mean, look, Kupp had the one reception, which was a huge chunk of those yards. Look, going into the game, we have a plan, and we're always willing to change that plan. Like I said earlier, I felt like, we're going to be okay. Thought we could outlast them.
Jerod, you were talking about some of the game decisions. When you guys went up 7-0 second quarter early, I think it was like a 54-yard field goal for Joey, but ended up punting on that one. Is that the one that were you talking about, or is that the different one?
No, that's a different one. I was talking about the 4th and goal on the 2.
Got it.
Making that a 1-score game. So. And then really, the extra point versus the 2-point conversion is always a conversation. I will say, look, anytime you get a kick block too, it's not a very good day.
On that 54-yarder, what was it about that decision that you didn't want to go 54-yard and ended up punting?
Yeah, there are a lot of different factors that we take into account. We talk about wind, we talk about the pregame warm-up. You can kind of see how the kicks are going on both sides during the pregame warm-ups, and I just felt like that was the right decision to make.
Jerod, with that punt, with the 4th and 2, which the fans clearly were not happy with, do you think you're coaching to win, or do you think you're coaching to win?
I'm always coaching to win. And look, every decision that I make won't always be the popular one, and that's part of this job.
Jerod, what do you think is preventing Jalen Polk and Javon Baker from having larger roles within the offense?
Look, I think it's important to remember, like, those guys are rookies. And, sometimes the expectation is that they're just going to come in here and be all pros. That's not it. Those guys, they work every day, and at some point they'll hit an inflection point where they can help our team win.
Jerod, tackle-eligible play to Vidarian in the end zone. What ended up giving you confidence that Vidarian is going to be able to make that play? Do you put him on the jugs machine in practice, or?
No jugs machines for him. Look, it was just something that we worked on in practice, and anytime you see special plays like that, look, we got to see it multiple times. It's not like you run it one time in practice and you feel good about it. So he caught 3 balls in practice, so I felt pretty good about it.
Hey, Coach, you have 3 pre-snap fouls offensively, which cost you points. I just wonder your thought about that, if there's any message to the team.
Yeah, the message is, look, we can't go backwards. I don't care how good the team is. You never want to go backwards, and that definitely hurts us.
Jerod, from your perspective, obviously the team is competitive right now, but what are maybe 1 or 2 things that you feel are keeping you from winning these types of games, whether it's from a decision-making standpoint as a coach or overall as a group, and how do you get to a place where it's better?
Overall, as a group, it's just consistency. That's what it is on a down-after-down basis.
Jerod, just wanted to ask about Christian's Day. What did you think of it overall, bar more?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the final snap count was, but it was good just to see him back out there. Obviously he's a disruptive presence, but today, with anyone, linebackers, defensive front, I don't think we had any negative, tackle for a loss or anything like that. But it was good to have him out there, and first and foremost, player safety is important, and I know he's excited about it.
Jerod, just going back to the decision to keep Christian in the boundary, I know he had a lot of success in Chicago. You guys basically running the same idea. As the game progresses here and they're scoring with Kupp and Nakua, what was the logic behind keeping him in the boundary versus mixing that up a little bit more?
Yeah, we just thought that was the best thing to do. And it's a mix of man and zone, so we thought that was the best thing to do. Thanks.
All right, here's your head coach, Jerod Mayo. The Patriots Postgame Show is brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the New England Patriots. And the show is also brought to you by Microsoft Surface. A big thank you to our partner, Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL and the New England Patriots, that provides players and coaches with the tools to succeed both on and off the field. Check out the new Surface Pro, designed to keep up with you as the most flexible, most powerful 2-in-1 laptop and tablet out there at surface.com. What'd you guys learn from the Mayo presser?
Well, he explained the last play as miscommunication. So that could be a lot of different things.
Right.
Yeah.
Not sure what that means. But
Yeah.
That's kind of what we thought, but we just don't know
Who
was at fault.
miscommunicated with who. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say what we talked about with the pregame, with Joey Sly factored into foregoing a 55-yard field goal on that play in the first half, which, if he was struggling going in that direction in the pregame, that's good coaching.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take into consideration all that. That's why you do those warm-ups. And how many times, have we seen Mike Reese,
chart them?
Yes, exactly. There's a reason why
And
you
it must
do
have
that.
been, this one must have been pretty egregious because everybody tweeted about it.
Yeah.
You
right.
know?
And so these in-the-moment experts, your brothers and sisters up there in the press box who are killing Mayo at the time for doing this, did they not watch the pregame?
It was
Did
the
they not see
opposite
what's
on
going
that one. Everybody was citing the reason why Mayo probably passed up that field
there was
goal.
somebody who asked a question here who I know was killing him on Twitter. Again, and his whole reason is he believes Jerod's coaching scared. He said it at the time. He said it in the press conference. I
don't think he's talking about passing up a 55-yard field goal as coaching scared.
Yeah.
He's talking about
I'll show it to you later
field
after
goal
the show.
from the goal line on the 2. Like that's what Ben terrible question.
Right.
To your point, I mean, you don't have to bog it down in semantics, but I think the 55-yard field goal, I saw Mark Daniels, I saw Mike Reese, I saw, I don't know about Mike Reese. I saw Mark Daniels, I saw Doug Kyde, and I saw Chris Mason all mention the struggles in pregame as probably factoring into why he didn't kick that field goal.
It's, like if you're looking for a fight, that's the kind of question you ask.
Yes.
It's very accusatory.
Yes.
And what coach is going to be like, I'm really not coaching
I thought that
to
was
win.
an unprofessional question.
100%.
That Ben asked.
Thank you, Borgie, against Pete Carroll back in the day. Paul, I know you remember that. Speaking of Paul, This is from Elle in Wisconsin. After this many years of listening to the postgame show, it's surprising when something new becomes one of my favorite parts. But here we are. The utter disdain in Paul's voice when Matt or Fred put someone on the good list, quote, because they tried super hard, end quote, is great every time. Keep it up, Paul.
Yeah, I'm not a big everybody gets a trophy guy. That's another very accurate.
Right, and I don't think that Fred and
I don't know.
everybody gets a trophy.
I'm just
kind of
happy
people.
for Christian Barmore. I mean,
I'm
maybe
really-
some people want to scoff at the
I'm
fact
really
that
happy
he came
for him,
back.
too.
I
We
mean,
spent-
it's okay. It's
Did he
you know,
play good, Fred?
Yeah,
No.
he didn't get a sack. I'm sorry.
Well,
but,
then
you know,
forget it.
But he didn't do anything.
No.
No,
He was
I-
on the field, and we'd spent 2 hours talking about how positive that was in pregame.
Right, and I saw him bull rush a couple guys early.
They got you guys boxed
yeah.
up right now. That means they want a
Right,
little
so
boxing
Paul,
match.
could both things be right here? It's a positive moment for the team to get a guy who you thought
Right.
might not
Right.
play this year back in the lineup.
Yep.
It also might be true that in his limited work, he didn't really flash.
No, I don't really like. To me, I would agree with Fred that it's how he played is secondary.
Right.
That he played
Because
as the
the
first
story is what DeMarcus Covington said on Thursday.
Correct.
He's back on the field.
Yes.
It's a great development. That I think we can all agree on.
Sure.
Yeah, like when we're talking about the game, this is like I last week I had Drake Maye on my bad list. If I'm gonna like be really fair and say, well, geez, he's playing his 5th career game, it wasn't that bad. That's probably true. That's not how I judge it. I'm
Right.
judging Christian Barmore now
Screw the blood clots.
as the player. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm judging
Yeah.
him as the player, not as
Right.
like, well, he just came back after a whole season of inactivity.
Yeah.
But the development is over the top positive.
Right.
Fred's absolutely right.
John from South Beach, you're next on the Patriots postgame show presented by DraftKings. Hi, John.
Howdy, everyone. I have some other things I wanted to talk about, but since we're arguing about the good list, I would
Not
put
really.
Rhamondre Stevenson on the good list if he made it into the end zone on that 2-3 yard run or whatever. I feel like that would have put him just a little bit over for me and landed him on the good list. To fight about something that everyone was fighting about, an hour and a half ago, I don't think Kayshon Boutte is a special player. I don't think he's better than your average veteran. I think you could cut him at the end of this year and replace him with somebody and get better production. Though, not to be a total jerk about it, I will say I'm surprised with how well he's played this year relative to what I expected. And lastly here, Matt, you started to grow on me. I love my boy Hardy, but I'm glad you're part of the team, and I'm very pleased that you did not call it the nice list this week, because that was a small thing that was starting to drive me insane.
The what?
So, love you, pal.
What is it?
Okay, thanks,
What do
John.
you call it?
Matt,
The nice list?
The nice.
Matt calls it the nice.
Oh, the nice list.
sometimes
It's
instead of
it's
the
a
good list.
We're getting close to the Christmas
Naughty
holidays,
and-
John. My apologize. I'm going naughty or nice, but that's fair. I appreciate the shout. Good job, John.
Matt
Thank you
likes to
very
make
much.
nicknames up for things.
There you go.
He does.
All right.
Naughty.
Colin in Seattle wants to know, Matt mentioned special teams gaffes. I'm curious if you've all had any thoughts on, and I thought about this at the time, so good for you, Colin, on any thought on not making the Rams punt again after the illegal formation penalty on their last drive. I really think any opportunity to get the ball in Marcus Jones' hands is one you have to take advantage of.
Okay.
Speaking of which, I'm glad to see you got a snap on offense today, which is something you all have been calling for.
Yeah.
Good shout by Colin.
I did.
They just took the 5, right? Yeah.
They took the 5 and they put the ball on the 10-yard line. Now, not for the reason that the emailer is saying, because I don't think you have a realistic shot of a punt return on that situation because it was a plus 50 punt.
Yeah.
But I would have made them re-kick it because maybe he kicks it in the end zone. Like, he got a really good kickoff the first time and he got it down at the 5-yard line.
No, it sounded
they
to
took the 5 yards to go to the 10.
It sounded like to me that they didn't have a choice.
They did. Well, I mean, I don't know.
The ref immediately said the yards will be tacked on.
He said that they've chosen to.
I mean, there's a-
I didn't hear the
believe.
word choice.
I mean, Fred,
Okay,
there's
if they didn't have a choice, they didn't have
Yeah.
a choice.
Fred, there's a
maybe
pool-
you're right. I didn't,
Yeah,
but I didn't hear
I
that.
don't.
Fred,
I
there's a
don't
pool
know either.
reporter. You can ask the pool reporter.
Yeah, I don't
Well-
think it's worth.
It definitely wasn't worth the pool
We don't need to
report, but
belabor it.
Eldred from North Carolina is
I would
next.
ask the. Nah, never mind.
Yeah.
I would
Hi,
ask the
Eldred.
pool reporter.
No,
if
because
the
I was thinking the
referee
same
had
thing.
actual money on the game
And
today.
It
but that's
sounded
just
to me
me.
like it was a done deal. Like there was no choice. You're just going to tack these yards on.
I thought he said they've chosen to
Maybe.
do that.
You
But,
might be right.
But if they
I don't-
didn't have a choice, then it's a moot point.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Eldred.
Yep. Hey, fellas, how y'all doing?
Great.
I didn't get to see the game because I was working.
What?
I heard it on the Sports
Eldred.
Hub.
Come on.
I heard on Sports Hub, and I love Zoe and Zoe. What is it? Zoe?
Bob
Bob
Sosi.
Sosi.
They had me.
He's been doing it for 20 years.
The Los Angeles
they had me
Rams.
cracking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had me cracking up. But that play that May throw to the wide receiver that went down the field, he should have called it. He wasn't looking back because Zoe dogged him on that.
I would like to know.
That's not a surprise.
My guess is Matt nails this one coming right out of the chute. I think he's supposed to be looking there, and that's the soft spot in that zone is underneath. Now, I'm not saying if he was looking, he would have been able to make the play. They're all reacting to the ball,
right?
Not the player,
right?
But he was not looking.
Paul, is it
He was
possible
not
again?
looking.
One of my
it's
favorite
clear he
phrases,
wasn't looking.
Is it possible both things could be right?
Yeah.
That the wide receiver should have been looking,
May went to the
and
right
he sailed
spot.
it.
May threw,
You know?
I don't think he sailed it. I think he put it right where Douglas ran through.
Okay.
Now maybe I'm being an
Yeah,
apologist for Drake Maye, but I think he put it right in that area.
Yeah. It was so egregious that it had to be a miscommunication.
I just would like to know.
And,
I think that's
there
what
was a decent pocket, Fred, so it wasn't like he was rushing it.
Yeah.
He had time on the
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eldridge. You had one more question. Sorry.
Yeah, one more question. But I know I'm with the other caller. Booty surprised me, but I'm like everybody else. We need a top dog. I don't care how you
We need
get him.
two top dogs.
I know we don't get nobody this year. Well, maybe two. And Jalen Pope, I hope next year he get his head right. But right this year, I'm gonna write him off for a little bit. Just give him some
I'm not going to lie. I'm
That's
really
what I'm
close.
gonna do.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Eldridge. We appreciate that. Okay, Patriots lose today 28-22 to the Los Angeles Rams, as
The
Bob
Rams.
Sosi would say. But the highlight of the loss, what a lot of people are gushing about, is the play of Drake Maye. Let's listen to Drake Maye after the game, please.
Drake, just 282 yards, a couple touchdowns, but I'm sure for you, the loss and the two turnovers are going to eat at you a little bit. Just lessons learned in this one when you look back on it.
Yeah, just can't hurt our defense, on the fumble. Third down, got to get the ball out. Can't take a sack there. Same thing I talked about in previous press conferences, punt. The end of the drive of the kick, Coach Mayo preaches that, end every drive of the kick. And then I thought we did some good things, but at the end of the day, just it wasn't good enough.
Drake, over here on your far right, Jerod Mayo said that the interception at the end was a miscommunication. Can you take us through what happened on that play?
Yeah, just too high look and pops up the middle, and they're pretty good up front, rushing 5. So I tried to kind of put it on him and kind of hit him over the linebacker, and Pop was thinking probably deep, but at the end of the day, just got to be on the same page. And I think Pop did the right thing. I guess got to just talk through more conversations, and it just goes back to me during the week doing more, talking through different situations. Hey, I may put this one on you versus let it rip. So that's about it.
Drake, it feels like each week you get a little bit better and there's a little more growth. Where do you see the areas of growth being this week? And also speak to the third and short situations and getting into your third and short with gains on first and second down.
Yeah, I think this week just scrambling to be a passer. I think taking off so early and just tucking the football, being a scrambler, to throw the ball downfield, and we got good players downfield. I thought I made good decisions, and just the last reception. But I think week to week, I think we're getting better. Proud of those guys up front for battling, and you're able to run the football pretty good at times today. Just little things that I think down there in the red zone we got to capitalize on.
Hey, Drake. 4th and 2 down near the goal line, obviously 4th and goal at the 2. Did you have any input over whether to go for it on 4th down, and do you wish that you had gone for it?
Yeah, I think it's easy to look back and wish we would have done this or that, but I think that was to make it a one-score game. So we're gonna hang our hat on the what the coaches want to do, and I think I wouldn't disagree with it. We got a good defense, and we're proud of our defense. We think our defense is a good good unit. So at the end of the day, they just made more plays than we did.
Hi, Drake. Kendrick Bourne, no snaps last week, but this week he's got 72 yards and a touchdown. What did you see from him? What was different about his attitude this week?
Yeah, I think his attitude's always the same. KB's got great energy, and that's the one thing about him. He's gonna come in day in, day out with a smile on his face, and I think just a testament to him for not getting probably what he wanted last week and coming out here and making some big plays for us.
Drake, obviously you have a ton on your plate for yourself in a game like this, but do you watch Matthew Stafford do his thing? He obviously had a great game today, and did you get a chance to speak with him after the game?
Yeah, no doubt. Grew up, big fan, of Matthew Stafford and still a fan, over there on the sideline. Used to watching him on Thanksgiving. I feel like the Lions always played on Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving coming up. So, played, threw the football, sadly pretty well today. And it was cool to watch, and just glad to meet him after the game, and told him I was a big fan.
Throw a lot of passes to guys over 300 pounds in your career in the end zone?
Say that again?
Throw a lot of passes to guys over 300 pounds in your career?
Yeah, it's my first one. I'm proud of Velo. And I think some trickery. I think that kind of gets lost in the NFL. Some trickery, misdirection, little things like that. I think you fool these guys in the end zone.
Got good hands for a big guy?
Yeah, good hands. Yeah, he caught them all week. So I try to give him a nice pass. I think hopefully my mom probably could have caught it.
Drake, what do you do, or what do you say to Jalen Polk as he kind of struggles to find some consistency right now?
Yeah, I think just keep going. I think he's going to be a great player in this league. He's a rookie, like myself, and we're going to have some good games as the Patriots together. So looking forward to keep him going, and I think he's getting thrown in there at different times and thrown in there to block some. So I think he's got to pick up some little things, but he's a great player and need to find a way to get in the football.
Drake, on that false start penalty at the end of the game there, I think it was your second to last drive. It looked like you were sort of going down to the line of scrimmage to try to communicate something. How difficult was it to get everything communicated the way you wanted? Was noise a factor down there? What happened on that play?
Yeah, I think the play clock was running down. Just trying to do different things and get guys lined up. But it's unfortunate that we had to take a time out there or really a false start. So kicked us back and kicked the field goal. So it's unfortunate.
Hey, Drake, over the course of your starting experience, do you feel like the playbook has expanded? There's more variety now. Have you gotten the sense that you guys can do more things now? I mean, even like today, the pass distribution seemed like early on a lot of different people were involved throughout the game. Do you feel like it's expanded for you?
I think it's a testament to this offense. I think in TC in the quarterback room of teaching us different looks, different guys. I think it's predicated as I think it's one of the strengths of having a lot of different guys that can make plays. They got to guard everybody, and it goes back to me trying to get people involved. I like getting a bunch of different people involved, and I think just playing football, playing good football, and making the right read and being on time is a testament to this offense that the AVP runs of what it can do.
Last question, Alex Park.
Drake, it looked like you made a couple of anticipation throws to Hunter Henry today. How far would you say your chemistry's come with him since training camp?
Yeah, I think he's a baller. I remember times in training camp, times I was in there with him. I remember I had a rack of 4 and 7-on-7, and I think I threw it to him maybe all 4 times or 3 of the 4 times. I'm trying to find 85. I think he's one of the best tight ends in this league, and I think him and Hoop, those are two great players for us. I think they week in and week out block their butts off in the run game and make plays for us. So proud of 85 and 81. I think we're going to have some guys up else in that room that are going to step up. So thank you.
That's your quarterback, Drake Maye, after the best game of his NFL career. I tell you what, I don't know that he ever says anything, but I think the way he says it, he gets it.
Well,
he gets it.
I think we learned who probably should have been looking for the ball on that last play. Yeah.
Yeah, but he said it in a way
but he took the blame.
Absolutely.
He took the blame.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's important to not be like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I like how you put it.
All right,
it's important to not be Aaron Rodgers.
So real quick, I got a text from Don, our buddy Don Maxon, who said that he went back and watched, and they did not say that they chose to take the penalty. That phrase was not used, so maybe it was automatic.
Yeah,
which
an illegal formation.
Nice job, Maxon, helping us out.
Yeah,
I
back and make him re-kick it because that was a nice kick.
Legal formation. Kicking team number 48 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty will be added to the dead ball spot.
So maybe there wasn't a choice.
Or maybe they already had done that. I don't know.
I think he just didn't say it.
Yeah.
Great job communicating the penalty, I think, by the referees there in that situation, too. Really good job, Paul.
Yeah.
Because I do think if they had an option, I think it would have been in their best interest to have him re-kick because it was a good punt. It was caught at the 5-yard line. So maybe the next one, earlier in the game, he had a 20-yarder, then went out of bounds at the 23. maybe he does that again, or maybe he just pops it in the end zone.
Anytime you can just make them have to handle
No,
the ball.
it was a topic of discussion on the blog for sure.
All right, and we're going to wrap things up. I think Paul and Fred, you'll enjoy this one. This comes from Brian on Cape Cod.
Brian with a Y?
Brian with the Y on Cape Cod.
Y.
Gentlemen and Paul, he begins this with.
Well done, Brian.
I just wanted to tell you that you guys are by far the best post-game show, and it's not even close. I was leaving the Cape, and it's almost impossible to get good post-game discussion about what actually happened in the game from a football standpoint on the traditional radio stations, i.e. Paul shows. You guys discuss plays that happened, break down aspects of the game. It's outstanding, and thank you for doing that. It's enjoyable. I don't get to listen frequently, but if in my car, it's your post-game show or none. And the defender raked the ball free from Bell. Paul is right on that one. Give the guy credit for making a good defensive play. Could have been held, but not a drop. Watching Chiefs-Bills now, but wanted to send you that note. Keep it up, boys. Brian with the Y from Cape Cod.
Well, thank you, Brian.
All right,
but
BMO.
We also have to give a lot of credit to our backroom staff because when we talk about plays, bang, the play comes up.
Chris Judge, Josh Davis,
single
Nick Puopolo,
Yep.
Dave Sarnovitz,
Yeah,
Anthony Marino. Those guys are on.
That really helps us because then I can prove Paul wrong
Correct.
when we're talking.
Right. And
Not
by
in
the
this
way,
case, my friend.
And Maury, he's
but let's also give credit to Matt and Matt, who then say to Chris and Josh, "Can you get that play so Fred can prove Paul wrong?"
There you go.
Well, the perfect
that's
thing
a nice job
for,
by
for
them.
this show, and I know obviously it was a much more high-profile play, but when I walked in, Matt is immediately talking about Douglas not looking, and I hadn't seen the replay.
Oh.
And they had immediately 3-4 different looks at it, different angles, replays.
Yeah.
Really told the whole picture.
Well, if we're going to go behind the curtain, to me, the better part of that is I come in first because I'm just right down here in my office. I sit down, and Matt goes, "All right, we're ready to go." I said, "Right, so we're going to wait for Paul." And he goes, "No.
No, we're ready to go.
Oh, so you were flying solo for a little bit,
I go by
Matt, huh?
myself.
It was a Hardy-esque open.
They don't tell you when to start the show. You tell them when to start
we start
the show.
immediately
On
after
the show, babe.
On the show. Just remember that. No, we like to get it started. Hardy used to do that.
We
He
got
would
started
start-
on time.
It was like literally a minute in, I was here.
How long did you have to swim for, Matt? You're treading water a little bit?
25 minutes.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
rambling on.
Tell you
and
what,
on.
5 minutes.
That Paul was stuck in the elevator.
I would have come in, he would have looked like Albert Brooks with the flop sweats.
So during training camps, like in the past, sometimes I'd have to open the show and they'd be late because they're coming from practice,
Yeah.
and I would use it to give my own monologue. And they would come in the middle of me, preaching to the
Mike
to
and
the
I were
crowd.
just-
Did you have your camera?
Oh yeah, I had my one.
You had your one.
I had my
There was
one.
You had your one.
Yeah.
They need them. They need their friends.
That's it. In all seriousness, I don't mean to sound like corny and like Patriots Sunshiny.com, but like this is a whole different feeling for me. Like they have offense. They have a quarterback that can generate offense. It's so different.
At the end of the day, all they needed was a touchdown and extra point. You felt they might get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
they
there
might
was,
get
I
it.
thought there was
Yeah.
a definite chance they
Yeah.
could score there.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, even when they were down 15, I thought the game was kind of over, but not like Mac Jones over. Like, there's no way.
Well,
they're
you
getting
thought it was
two-
over because you didn't have faith in the defense.
Right. Because the Rams.
Well, I didn't think they
Rams
were going
could
to
do
score
whatever they
twice
wanted to
either.
do.
But like,
Right.
I thought there was a chance they could.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
think they would.
Yeah.
But I thought there was a chance, and definitely the least amount of faith. Like even there, like was like over 5 minutes. They let him get 2 first downs first.
Yeah.
And then they finally got the stop when it's like, okay, now
hanging on by a thread.
Now it's desperate. Like Fred goes, we need a miracle now, and I'm like, oh no, if we could stop him here, we're going to get the ball back.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually a real holiday miracle. Paul Perillo, a.k.a. Johnny Negativity, is happy
so
after a
untrue.
28-22 loss. And I think the rest of the majority of Patriots Nation feels the same way that Paul Perillo does.
Wow. Hooked on a feeling, right?
I'm hooked on
Yeah.
Drake Maye.
Yeah.
And like I've been hooked on him since the draft process. I thought it was the right call. I've said it many times, and I'll say it again. I would have taken him over Jaden Daniels. And in a couple of weeks, so will everybody else.
Oh, they'll all come around a
It's
Paul's side of the
already
street.
starting to turn.
Okay.
It's already starting to turn. Daniels is good. I'm not taking it. Give him the offensive rookie of the year. I'm
listen,
fine with that.
I saw.
We'll see.
I
We'll
saw
see who everybody
I
else
saw
will take.
pick of the litter many times today in
Oh.
terms of Drake Maye in the draft.
I like it.
Pick of the litter.
They lose 28-22 to the Rams today here in Foxborough to fall to 3-8 on the year. Next week, they go to one of their perennial house of horrors. It's in Miami to take on the Dolphins in a game after the Dolphins win today. The Dolphins can sniff the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's not going to, I can tell you right now, a week out, not a great spot for the Patriots. But It'll be a great measuring stick to see what are they made of. What are they made of?
No pressure.
And that's MAYE' made of.
Yeah.
What are they made of?
Go down there, let it rip.
Good.
Fred
would like
Good,
that.
Matt.
Good experience for Drake Maye. I mean, I've talked about a lot. Just getting the opportunity for him to go to a divisional rival, certainly one down in Miami at this point, get his feet wet down there, and
You're big
what do
on
you got
those,
to
Mike.
lose? I do. Well,
you put a lot of
I
stock
hit
in
him.
those. I like those.
Well,
That's a deuce thing.
It's a
I
little
like that.
interesting nugget that I
Yeah.
like.
He's going to go to Buffalo later, too.
Then
It's
he'll play
good.
there.
It's
It'll
good
be
to get him that experience.
Well, I mean, that one is a little exciting just because it's
Can you
freezing
imagine
up
some
there.
people wanted him to sit the season? I'm serious. People were saying, "Oh, you should sit the season."
Oh, that's
All right,
crazy.
how long are we going here?
The Patriots lose to the Rams.
Paul's like, I've said enough good
28
No, Paul and I have
22.
already taken our victory lap.
I told you I'm smelling my farts a little bit. You taught me.
In spite of the loss, the Patriots lose 28-22, but we believe there was hope today because we saw the best game of Drake Maye's professional career. That'll do it from here for the Patriots postgame show presented by DraftKings. For Paul Perillo, Mike Dussault, Fred Kirsch, a cast of thousands that we mentioned earlier, Matt LePan and Matt Morrell. Thanks, everybody, for listening and watching. Next week, the Patriots are in Miami to take on the Dolphins.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.